yo, 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 yo. Yeah. You got 4 wisdom teeth pulled today. This is exactly what I need. Oh my god, that's so funny. My friend is also getting 4 of them pulled out literally tomorrow. So that's like really coincidental. I hope you feel okay. Hope you're taking down those perky 50s. Can't even see straight, bruh. Sheesh. What up, 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 what up? You like this shit? You guys can't see it right now, but I'm fucking dancing. I'm fucking moving. I'm fucking grooving. I'm fucking pooping down my pant leg. It's fucking slithering out. Wasn't poop. It was a fucking snake, dude. I'm cursed. I'm cursed, baby. I'm cursed. Ooh. 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 He possessed. He possessed. Ain't God good? Amelia with the 2. And First Stoner with the night says, hey Joe, hope your night's going well. Thank you, Amelia. It's going absolutely stupendous now that all of you are here. And now we can just cruise. Let me take you to the future. But first, we gotta go back. Dude, isn't music just the fucking coolest shit ever in the history of anything? I swear to God, there's nothing more magical. Like, it's actual magic. I think music is actual magic. It's from the devil. God never intended us to ever hear music, ever. Just the shitty songs played with, like, you know, G chord and C chord. But it's the devil that brought us, you know, hot beats and cool treats. The devil brought us Dairy Queen, essentially. You wouldn't think he would like blizzards. But it's a lot colder down in hell than you think, than you would imagine. Music has saved you more than once for sure. I know, right? Ain't that weird? Ain't that some shit? Renee! Cope with the 2. Thank you, Renee. Appreciate ya. Heard you on Darkness Prevails from 5 years ago. Oh shit, nice. Is that where you first encountered me? Out in the wild? Let's go, let's read. Music is da bomb. It really is. I think if there ever is another creative endeavor that I really delve into, it has to be making music, because it just feels, just the way it feels, man. Imagine making people feel that way. Imagine making yourself feel that way, just from something you create. Gonna hit 1 million soon. You know, it might be a little bit. You know, I'm thinking maybe another. Well, you know, we can actually check it potentially. If we're moving at this tentative rate, let's see. I believe on what the hell is it called? Social Blade. Social Blade. Social Blade. See, what am I looking for? Isn't there? Oh yeah. Future projections. All right, so yes, in exactly 12 months, in a little over a year, on my 9th YouTube anniversary, we might hit 1 million. It might even be before that. It might be like midsummer. It might be on my birthday. Maybe on my. Can you guys get me to 1 million subs by my birthday, June 4th next year? I would scream without the S. We should do a rap version of Let's Not Meet Stories. Oh, that would be interesting. Talking about noping out of there. He looked at me wrong. And then I made up this song. Because he made me feel spooky. So I took a dookie in my pants. Scared the shit out of me. I'm not the best at freestyling, but I definitely got it. The energy's there for sure. His heart was in the right place. Imagine like somebody said that the Eminem at his like 8 Mile big freestyle battle, and everyone in the audience was like, his heart was in the right place, even though he just fucking bombed. Lose yourself in the stories, lose your worries. You better like it and then subscribe. Elvis, that's the greatest mixture of words. It's you guys. That's what you guys. You guys got to write me some lyrics. Write me some lyrics in the chat, and we're gonna incorporate them in one big rap-a-dap song. That's actually what rap music is short for. Rap-a-dap. Not a lot of people know that. It was first originated in China, actually. 2 million years ago, something like that. Historians are kind of conflicted about it. Baby Gravy rides again, baby, yeah. Baby Gravy doesn't really ride, he glides. He drips. Kareen with the 5. Thank you, Kareen. How goes it? Is this music getting more and more nostalgic as we go? Have you watched Incantation on Netflix? I'm 35 minutes in and my heart's racing. Racing. I have not even heard about it. Incantation. Is that about... That sound... Maybe that's what... Yeah. Maybe that's what rap-a-dap music is. It's just one big incantation. Hi Joel, hope you're doing well. Currently home with COVID and dying of congestion. I've been taking NyQuil and knocking out to your videos and streams I've missed, so I don't know how long I'll be up. That's okay, Phantom. I'm very sorry to hear that. I know that shit sucks. Try to keep your head elevated a little bit, I guess, when you sleep. Because I remember that was when I had COVID. I was so congested that I literally woke up like suffocating. It was actually kind of scary. I just like woke up and I don't even know. I was just like so clogged, and it was like in my throat that I like couldn't breathe, and I like had to like flip over the edge of the bed to like find my lungs. It was terrifying, kind of. But I was just thinking to myself, like, imagine just being like an old person who's just like not very mobile, not very good at just breathing in general. And then all of a sudden one of those little bouts of congestion attack you in the middle of the night and you just suffocate to death. Sorry, it's a little morbid. Let's get back to Baby Gravy. Woo-hoo-hoo! Rap-a-dap-dap-doo-doo-dip-dee-dip-a-dap-doo. Bro, you just fell down the stairs. Are you hurt? Did you slip on the banana? Did you slip on these bars, bro? I've been that clogged all day. I gotta find my lungs. Yeah, it's so annoying. You know, the one thing that really helped me is getting that, I mean, it's a little bit pricey. I think it's like upwards of like $80 or $90, but I think it was definitely worth the investment. Is, what the fuck is it called? But basically it's like shoots saline water through your one sinus. I think it's called a navage. Yeah, navage. It shoots like, you can get it at like CVS or Walgreens or whatever the fuck, or Amazon. It shoots like saline water up into your sinuses and like pulls it out the other side, all the mucousy gook. And it was yucky, but you know, once you get it out of you, you just feel clear. You can breathe for a little bit till eventually your body builds up another fucking giant bucket full of snot. Mr. White, I've been expecting you. The neti pot. Yeah, it's essentially the neti pot, but this thing's more of like an automated system. I remember I used to have something similar to it, but you had to like boil the water first instead of just using distilled water, and then you had to like put like saline salt packets in. It was just such a fucking headache. And yeah, the nose douches, yeah. Well, the ones that this is, it's just like a fucking system. Like, you know, it's got saline, distilled water on the top. Let you know, press a button, battery powered, shoots that shit up through your sinuses, drains out the other side down into a lower compartment, empty that shit. Sorry, I was like staring at Twitter there for a second. I just kept seeing more and more stupid shit popping up. I was like, I gotta get out of here. Sneaking in a little early today, so I am a little bit early. I do kind of have to be up a wee bit earlier tomorrow, so not that I have to rush or anything, but give myself a little bit of wiggle room. Is your street name Let's Read, Little Reed, Shy Guy, Poppy J? Poppy J's not bad, but I think we'd probably have to stick with Baby Gravy on the track. Baby Gravy on the track. Just remember to give yourself... Oh, sorry. I'm reading. What do I have in store for tonight? Yes, we got highway stories. Stories that occurred in and or around the roads, most likely in the United States. Aren't the highways just an amazing invention? Just bypassing all sorts of places. Before you had to go on, like... Imagine how bad traffic was, like, long ago. Whenever everybody was just like backed up for hours in horse and buggy. Shit was crazy. Baby Gravy. Justin with the 5 says, greetings from the Keystone. I'm very grateful for your channel. Years back I would be depressed without a keep of... Oh, well, thank you. Still around, still kicking. And thank you, Justin. Thank you for sticking with me. Appreciate you. In or around my mouth. The wisdom teeth, or what are we talking about here? That's what the surgeon said before they went in. We're just gonna cut in and or around your mouth. We're just gonna take the whole mouth. Michael Ranowski with the 5 says, here to buy my daily dose of melatonin. I got you. Let me speak your dosage into your ear holes. Yeah, an off-road buggy. Oh, I'm surprised they don't have that. A buggy and carriage, but it has like shocks and suspension. I don't think that's very this song's kind of sick. You guys hear this? Hugh Janus with the 2. Thank you, Hugh. Appreciate you. Reporting live from my new apartment in South Korea. Oh shit. What's going down in SK? I'll be working for the next 2 weeks, so I won't be able to watch your streams until September 1st because of my work schedule. Wanted to say hello to my best friend. Well, hello, Jacob. Good to see you. What's this background music called? This one's called Synthwave, but it gets increasingly more nostalgic. And it's on the Odysseus YouTube channel. And the current song is called Crocia Azure. I think it's Crocia. Crosia. Krosia Azur.
I said it before and I'll say it again. Life moves pretty fast.
Life moves pretty fast.
Stop and look around once in a while. You could miss it.
If you don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it. Have you ever recorded music / sang before? You know, I never have, honestly. Never really tried it. But I see people like Eddie Murphy just roll into a studio, or Jamie Foxx just bangs that shit out like it's nothing. And I think, you know, I see them do it, I'm like, I can do that too. I don't know. I say a lot of words sometimes, but words don't mean shit unless you do, right? You gotta do things. The only thing that doesn't matter in life are action. Taking action. You can manifest your chakras all fucking day. You can pray upon your crystals. But those crystals don't answer until you get on your fucking 2 feet and you take that step, that leap. Woo! I need to do the voice of animated characters. I know, I need to. I need to. And I realize, I mean, I'd like to find like a mentor. Anybody know who could be a mentor in that regard? Because I've heard good things about mentors. I just don't know. Where do you get mentors at? Do you find them at Walmart? What do you do? Is your Patreon the same content as members only, or is it different? So yeah, the members only over here, and yeah, the $5 Patreon tier over on Patreon is the same. Yep, they're both $5. But essentially, people were supporting me on Patreon. It's $1 a month for early access over there, but like some of them were supporting for higher. So then they introduced this over here. You can't do audio early access. So I was like, well, the typical lowest thing is like $5. So I was like, let's do, let's introduce, let's introduce the bonus content. But I was like, I can't introduce the bonus content over here and then not introduce the bonus content over on Patreon. So I created the $5 tier over there. And boom, schlickabaka, we've got a rocka. Lynn with the 5 says, breakups be stinky, but are needed to allow us to grow mentally. I'd be a bit sad tonight, but the stream always makes me day. Hoping Pradeep stops by. Love you. Thank you. Yeah, where's he at? Oh, he's stretched out over there. Doing his thing. Banging his bang. Alright, friends. Another 30 seconds and we could begin the countdown now. But thank you again, Lynn, and huge Janus with the with the winky face. Thank you, Hugh. Joe, a half man, half bull monster, can't help you become a voice actor. Did I say Minotaur? I mean, if you can find one, that would be either one, a mentor or Minotaur. Either one would be fucking sick. All right, let's kick this off. Let's get into some spookalos. Some spooky dookies. Just in time, Hanny. Welcome, welcome. Also on Twitter, I posted my picture of one of my parents' dogs as I helped them build a outdoor deck. Minecraft in real life, pretty much. It's pretty sweet. You get to use a drill and different power tools. And sometimes you get a splinter, and it freaking hurts. Can I do a fart first? I wish I could. I'm fresh out. They're all in the jars over there. I gotta send those out in the morning. Ever just feel like an astronaut in the ocean? Goddamn right. Just sitting on my couch, stroking my shit, squeezing my shit, drowning my shit. Doom, 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 doom. I've literally never played Minecraft, not once. It's, it's probably not the greatest thing to start when you're older, because it might not, captivate your mind as much, but you could give it a whirl. It's pretty easy, pretty straightforward. Who knows, maybe it's relaxing, I guess. I don't play it myself. But I did once, like 10 years ago. Trying to build a beacon that shines into the sky, so I guess they killed the Wither. What are you talking about? Feeding my beardies, and I finally met. Oh, nice. I remember somebody did like a funny a meme video or something. I think because you can take audio from different stuff, and it was like they were cleaning their bearded dragon's cage or whatever, and bearded dragon was just like, hey yo, keep my shit straight, That's what I like to imagine every bearded dragon says as it's having its stinky, gross, poop-filled cage cleaned. What if there was a mini Pradeep astronaut down in the ship with you? He should be. He should just swim by in the background. That would be amazing with a little helmet on. The snacks we eating? I don't have any snacks, honestly. I'm snackless. But I am not storyless, so let's do that. Let's do some stories. We got 7 highway stories. Thanks for being here tonight, guys. Click that like button, click share. All that good stuff helps to do what? I'm not really sure, but it definitely feels good to do, right? I shouldn't have to tell anyone how stressful and uncertain the last 2 or 3 years have been. Countless people around the world have lost homes, businesses, and loved ones through no fault of their own. As the pandemic waned and the shutdowns. Yeah, I am the snack. I eat myself. As the pandemic waned and the shutdowns lifted, I counted myself lucky not to be one of them. Perhaps it was my hubris, but the universe found a way to change that. Because of an older model car and a drunk driver, I was robbed of the most important person in my life. I wasn't sure if I'd make it, but with a lot of help from friends and others... familiar with my loss, I've been able to see a future for myself without him. I'm sharing my experience in order to show others there is hope after such a great and immense loss. Alan and I married late. He had been reluctant to settle down after hearing horror stories of his friends' contentious divorces. I'd been married myself once before. This didn't instill much faith in his mind. I was over 30 and eager to start a family. Alan was well aware of this, but I put no pressure on him. He came to the decision that he didn't want to lose me and proposed. I was more than happy to accept. I don't know. Sometimes you guys correct me on pronunciation and it gets in my fucking head, man. It gets in my head, man. I was more than happy to Let's get Joel to 901k subs. Let's go. I was more than happy to accept. To be honest, I was afraid he'd call me on my plan and let me go. Fortunately, we both got what we wanted, and we were eager to move ahead together. We tried for a few years to get pregnant, but it never happened. My doctor suggested fertility treatments. Due to the cost, we chose to forego buying a new car, much needed by the way, to pay for the procedures. We'd only managed to get one round before the pandemic struck. Our dreams seemed to grow less and less likely by the month, but we didn't quite lose hope just yet. As the summer of 2021 arrived, things in our area began to get back to some semblance of normalcy. Our favorite restaurant had just opened to sit customers down. Again. Alan and I packed into my 20-year-old VW Golf and headed downtown. Dinner was just as fantastic as I remembered it. I was on cloud 9 afterwards, and this was the moment at which life chose to present me with my greatest test. On our way back home, my VW began to have engine trouble. This wasn't anything new. My priorities were never on auto maintenance. In truth, the poor car had made it a lot longer than it should have. The lurching and jerking continued to get worse until the engine died completely. We coasted a few feet onto the outer shoulder and stopped. Alan called AAA, and we waited inside the car for a tow truck to arrive. We'd been sitting there around 10 minutes when a highway patrolman showed up. Alan got out to talk to him. From what I could hear, he was doing a routine check to see if we needed any assistance. Our state is one of those who offer such services. Alan informed him of the situation, and they were making small talk when everything went sideways. Out of nowhere, I heard a massive crash. Instantly after, I saw the patrol car hurling toward the back of my Golf. My last memory was of the officer attempting to push Alan away from the direction of his oncoming vehicle. It was too late, unfortunately. Both men were killed on impact. I awoke some seconds later. Initially, I was unaware of my surroundings, but the smell of smoke pulled me back to reality. I could see through the windshield I'd been pushed another 20 yards or so down the shoulder. There was no overpowering pain. I cautiously stepped from the mangled remains of my car. The floodlights from the patrol car were still functioning, and I could see my way around. The patrol car had come to a rest a few yards away in a field that ran alongside the shoulder. The car that had caught this... The car that had caused the crash sat a few feet behind it. Both Alan and the officers' bodies were scattered nearby. It was clear I could do nothing to help either of them. That's as far as I'm prepared to go on that front. I was taking in the horror of the scene when I heard a slurred shout from the rear car. I looked over and saw a middle-aged man stumbling out from the driver's side, and blood was pouring down his face. My instinct to help kicked in and I ran over to him to help, but as I got closer, the smell of booze overpowered me. I flipped out. I attacked the guy. He had no idea what was going on. A couple of good Samaritans had arrived and had to pull me off of the drunk idiot. I broke down right there and then. A female paramedic quietly walked me over to the ambulance and helped me onto the gurney. While the paramedics did their work, I cried unlike I'd ever cried before. The doctors were amazed at my condition. Other than a lot of the bruising to my chest and knees, I was unharmed, and I spent the rest of the night in the ER and was let go later that next afternoon. The true power of losing Alan had not yet hit me completely. That would come after the funeral. And speaking of the funeral, I was happy to see how many people turned out to say goodbye. Many of them I had never met. Despite some reservations, I also attended the officer's service. His family greeted me warmly, and we all had a good cry together. And after all the chaos surrounding the wreck subsided, I was left alone to think. And this was when the weight of everything truly fell upon me. The man in which I tried so hard to create a family with was gone forever. I wouldn't leave the house for almost 4 months. Without the help of some awesome people, I would have probably starved to death. Only when a close friend convinced me to attend a grief counseling group was I able to regain some sense of sanity. Although it hasn't been that long, the group has helped me a lot. I'll be the first to admit I have a lot of progress to make. However, if you would have suggested 9 months ago that I could carry on without Alan, I would have probably spit in your face. It may be a trite cliche, but it really does appear that time can heal all wounds. The little part they neglect to add is that every severe wound leaves a scar behind. That scar may be an ill reminder of that past trauma to some. I prefer to see it as a memorial, a monument to a man who I will always love. This makes me smile, and a smile is never a bad thing. Jesus. That was a very heavy one to just fucking just kick shit off with. Oh, but okay. Nothing a twerk can't fix. Twerks heal all wounds. I'm sorry. Anthony Esposito with the $50 donation. Thank you, Anthony, for the huge dono here. It says, hello, humans, boys and girls. Thank you, Anthony, so much. Thank you. And good to see you, too. How are you, my friend? What is popping? Joel is so annoying. Am I? I'm sorry. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure like writing about somebody's passing in your life, you kind of like, I don't know. I mean, the way people cope with certain things, whether it's humor or I don't know. I mean, that's how I would look at it. Like, even though something really bad would happen to me, I feel like the first thing I would do would probably be to make a joke to the extent that it might actually confuse other people. But yeah, I don't know. In my life, I've twerked the same number of times that I played Minecraft. Today's the day, my friend. Today's the day, Skittles. The day that you shake off those fucking cobwebs, both from your Mojang profile or whatever the fuck it is, to your butt. Do I skim through the stories you read here, or do you pick them at random? I actually have somebody that I have access to the email, but also helping me with like the subreddit and then the normal Reddit and various other things to just compile stories and that kind of thing. And so a lot of it's like keyword searching, you know what I mean, and then compiling therein with the keywords, just specific to like certain themes that people might want to hear, stuff like that. Anthony with another 5 says, I'm good, working too much, surgery on my left tata next month. Interesting. Is it from an injury, or is it like removal of something, or the booty webs? We all have them. You did Zumba earlier? I'm all twerked out. Yeah, Zumba gets it clapping. Started watching your videos about a month ago and I love them. Keep up the amazing work. Thank you, Lord Nicolina. Appreciate you. Alright. Story numero 2. I just turned 20 the year the towers went down. Society was in the process of a massive shift, but none of this made any difference to me. I was just some unskilled college dropout training to be a carpenter's apprentice, and life wasn't any different than I imagined it for most guys of that age. My parents disowned me when I dropped out, and I was fortunate to find a cheap garage apartment near my job. The place smelled like dog, but it beat homelessness. At that time, I was getting around in a 1991 Honda my parents had given me on my 18th birthday, and it was well past its best years and spent a lot of time broken down, as you can imagine. I have a very strange and scary experience on one of those days that I broke down. It was the height of summer, and I was driving home from work. A train stopped traffic for about 10 minutes. Sitting and waiting caused my engine to overheat, and I was forced to walk the plank. It was Shrek. Wait, who was Shrek? You'd be very disappointed if your booty has webs. Just like somebody comes by with like a duster and collects it. Your butthole is tight, but your bond with God is even tighter. That's good. That's good to know. I'm sure there's a correlation there. I'm just kidding. He's doing another highway story in the very near future. Wait, this is in the future? You like writing and listening to Joel on a nice quiet evening? Yeah, does my word, when you're writing, because you're like basically, I've always been curious about this when people say they do homework or writing or whatever. Whenever you're writing, you're thinking of words, but whenever I'm reading, do my words that I say in the stuff like ever interfere with the brain words, you know what I mean, the words in your head? Because I always felt that way. I always felt like whenever I studied and had to write, I had to like listen to stuff with no lyrics or whatever, otherwise I'd be like too hyper focused on not hyper focused, but just focused, or like I'd hear the word once in a while in the songs and like just unconsciously write those down or something. Unless my voice is just at like a tone that sort of like tunes out or something, that would make sense. Just kind of a Anthony Esposito with a 5 says no idea what's going on with my body. VA said, we'll cut it out and then figure it out. Huh. That sounds like the VA. But, well, I won't pry. But I'm glad. I hope you're doing well, my friend. My words become your brain words. I'm in your head. I sleep your video so I can dream with what you're reading. I had some weird dreams last night. It was strange. And it was weird because it like took up the entire like span. You know, like a dream, like I don't get that. A dream that can be like 15 minutes in dream time can take up the entire, 6 to 8 hours of sleep or whatever you get, you know what I mean? And this dream was very strange. It was like me and my friend, we were on like a road in town, and we stopped at like an Arby's. So we're at like this sort of like Arby's, sitting down at the seating section, and I look down, it's kind of crowded, and I look down and like maybe like 3 or so tables over, I'm like, holy shit, bro. Talking to my friend in the dream, and I'm like, holy shit, bro, that's Shaquille O'Neal over there. And then they like looks over, he's like, yeah, bro, don't make a big deal out of it. Don't make a big deal. I'm like, what? That's fucking a Shaquille O'Neal. And then all of a sudden I see this one, kid from high school is also sitting with him across from him. I'm like, what the fuck is Shaquille O'Neal doing in our town? And all of a sudden, like, the kid from school gets up and is like holding Shaquille O'Neal's like leading him by the hand. Shaquille O'Neal's like 7 feet fucking tall, and I'm looking at him like, what the fuck? And they're like walking out, and Shaquille O'Neal has like these like booty shorts on, but they're kind of like wedged up into his butt, almost like a thong, and he's like leading him to like a hotel, like a motel room. So I'm like, this is like a semi like Arby's / motel situation. And then the more I look around, I'm like, holy fuck, everyone here is into some like weird like kink shit, you know what I mean? Sorry, this is kind of not safe for work. I hope nobody's at work or school or whatever the fuck. And I'm like, what the fuck? And like and then all of a sudden, like the woman that runs the place comes over, and she's like, hi, she's like the manager of Arby's, but it's not really an Arby's. The Arby's is just like a front for like a weird like sex hangout place. And they're like, you guys are gonna keep quiet, right? Like it was like she was like trying to promote, prompt us to like not say shit that we saw Shaquille O'Neal at a weird get together. But then like as we were driving, then I was like, all right, well, let's get the fuck out of here, dude. I don't know what the fuck's going on. Because I remember like as I was leaving, I saw somebody like tied up. I don't know. It's a dream, dude. What can I even fucking say? I swear it's not in my brain at all. I never would think these things. And like I get into my car and I start to drive to get back onto like the main road / highway. And then all of a sudden, my fucking car, like as I'm driving, just like I hit the brakes and the car just like starts spinning out. And I'm like, dude, they cut our fucking brakes, bro. They cut our fucking brakes. So I don't know. Some like whoever runs the Arby's sex house fucking tried to kill me afterwards. I don't blame him. I was literally about to tell you guys. I mean, I just told you guys about it. I can't keep my fucking mouth shut. Oh yeah, dude, I hope one day we can like visualize our dreams, like that we can take whatever images are in our mind and project. I mean, it's kind of dangerous obviously for invading people's minds, so hopefully we don't figure this out, but I also kind of hope we do, so that like if there's something in a dream, we could present it onto a screen and then, record it. Because I've like I don't even know why the fuck, like in a lot of my dreams, I don't listen to music, but I'll hear music in the dream, and it sounds like some of the coolest shit ever. And but I'll, you wake up and I like don't make music or any fucking thing like that, so I would have no way or idea of like how to translate those ideas into anything. Oh, you listen, bro. We're just here for some Arby's. Please don't tie us up. We ain't gonna say shit. Just give us a fucking cheese melt and we'll be on our way. Type the description of the dream into Dolly. Yeah, that would be a good idea. Of course, I don't think Dolly allows for celebrity names to be typed in there. Or anything like, weird. Yeah, 80% of my dreams are just basketball players in booty shorts. That's really what, they used to play in short shorts. We need to bring it back, but we need to make the shorts shorter and more wedgie-esque. You're pretty sure I've accidentally been in your dreams? That would be interesting, because, like, the voice is there, but can you see the face? Bruh, sponsored. Yeah, it was a sponsored dream. Dude, I wouldn't be surprised if we get to that point where they figure out how to, like, transmit. But it was strange, too, because, like, I had that weird dream last night, and I swear to God, like, 2 of my other friends, just unprompted by me, had mentioned to me about how, like, through messaging or whatever, that they had also had weird dreams, or like things had happened in dreams, and I was like, maybe it's just kind of one of them dreamy nights, Show us your face, show us your face, show us your... Ever tried sardines? I think I did, like, once. It's just like yucky, slimy fish, you know what I mean? Anthony with the 5 says, people have been cutting brake lines here and throwing rocks through gun shop windows. What the hell? Cutting brake lines? Are they trying to kill people? What the fuck's going on? I feel like a gun shop is like the opposite place that you want to fucking... Well, really no place, obviously, but a gun shop, like, you throw a rock through there, somebody's probably gonna be strapped to the gill. You had a dream once where you went to the theater to see a movie and the lobby Post Malone was there. And you said, Posty, can I give you another face tattoo? And he's like, yeah, sure. I was forced to turn on the heater even though... Wait, where are we at? I don't even know where we're at. A train stopped traffic for about 10 minutes. Sitting and waiting caused my engine to overheat, and I was forced to turn on the heater even though it was well over 100 degrees. A few minutes later, the train ended and the gate lifted. Traffic began again, but the overheat light stayed on, and I knew that I was screwed. This had never happened before. The heat gauge kept increasing, and the smell of burning made me pull over. I had passed a small service station a few miles back. I hoped someone there could help me out, or at least keep the car going until I got home. As if it mattered, I rolled up the windows. You didn't think I had AC, did you? Locked the doors and began the long walk to the shop. The walk was long and far from a great experience, but I was young and used to the heat. Once or twice, I took a short break under a tree. Even so, I managed to arrive at the station within about 45 minutes. I was stuck and I was struck. So, can't shoot unarmed people. Yeah, but that still doesn't mean an unarmed person can throw a rock through anything. I'm just saying, don't go sticking your hand in a cookie jar if you don't want the Cookie Monster. You feel me? I'm looking out for you, bro. I was struck at how quiet things were. There were no people at the pumps or sounds coming from the garage. I considered the possibility it was closed, but the open sign was lit up. As I reached the door, I noticed it was slightly ajar. I couldn't see inside because of all the signs and product stickers covering the glass. When I entered, the door chime went off. No one was behind the register, but I could hear shuffling sounds coming from around the corner. I innocently walked forward and was about to say something when I caught sight of 2 men struggling for a pistol on the floor. I had an immediate urge to help, but I had no idea who the good guy was in this scenario. The man on the bottom was showing signs of flagging. The desperation and fear in his face still haunts me to this day. I could see he was only a few seconds from losing control. when he let out a pitiful whine to slip. I am distractible. Yes, I am very easily distractible. My boyfriend and I went to a convention last weekend. Danny Trejo walked out of the stall he was waiting for. He said it was pretty weird. Oh, that'd be cool to see Danny Trejo. He's a fucking, like, legend, I feel like. I think I'm mixing metaphors or mixing a metaphor with a non sequitur. Probably. I like to do that from time to time. You know, it's like a Shakespearean form of art. Anthony with a 5 says, don't go sticking your hand on a cookie jar on the other end has a barrel that shoots a 10mm. Good point. Good point. Well, that's the thing, is you never know how people are going to react, you know, especially a fucking gun store. I don't even know why anybody would want, like, what their purpose would be. Like, here's a gun store, let me go throw a rock through it, like, whatever. Return, you had to work. Fuck work, dude. I earned a new respect for you today as I started narrating stuff on a separate channel. Oh, it's definitely not easy. Yeah, it's not easy, but you get better as you do it, you know what I mean? It's just like, obviously, you see me here mess up. Granted, I do get a little bit distracted by you guys, but I don't know, that's part of the fun for me. I do care about these stories and the ones you guys send in, you know what I mean? But I also have probably 3 to 4 to 5 to 200,000 times more fun chatting with y'alls. David De La Rose, did I say that? Thank you for the 2, my friend. Thank you. Make Joel great again. It's impossible, man. There's no bringing me back. When he let a pitiful whine slip out, I threw all caution to the wind and jumped on top of his assailant. I put the guy in a chokehold. This drew his focus away from the struggle for the gun and allowed the other guy to pry it from his hand. This is when I locked the choke in and waited. The guy grabbed at me but was already slipping into unconsciousness. I held on another few seconds until I felt his body go limp. Only when I was sure he wasn't faking did I let go. I wasn't trying to kill the guy, I just wanted to be sure that he was out. I gingerly lowered his body to the floor and looked over to the other man, and I was relieved to see the logo of the store on the breast of his shirt. On the opposite side was his name, and I leaned up and offered my hand. Nice to meet you, Paul. My name's Mike. That sounded weird. Nice to meet you, Paul. Name's Mike. You okay? He was still catching his breath, but managed to push out a rough, yes. I knew the guy would be awake any second and suggested that we find some way to tie him up until the cops arrived. He handed me the gun and asked me to watch the guy while he got some zip ties from the garage. He disappeared through a door and reappeared a few seconds later. The hold-up guy was waking up, but he was still very confused. I lifted him so Paul could attach the ties. The hold-up guy began to fight with me. Paul began punching him. It seemed a bit unfair, but I wasn't about to tell some guy who had been mere seconds from death to be nice to his attacker. One of the punches re-rung. What is this? You listen to me every night, Thomas. Thank you, my friend. Appreciate you. Do you rehearse the story before you read it? I do not, no. We just kind of do a cold read. Cold-hearted reads. It's a new creepypasta channel, Cold-Hearted Reads. How's the relative Pradeep? He is... Where is he? He was just between my legs crawling around a second ago. It always feels like a shark swimming below you. Name's Mike. Let's dance. The scene is familiar with what Marcellus Wallace and Butch struggling for the gun. Does that make you Zed? Oh, that's a good point, dude. That's actually kind of spot on. Name's Zed. Hopefully he doesn't end up in a trunk somewhere. One of the punches rung the guy's bell and he stopped fighting. We got the ties on and I watched the guy until Paul could get the cops there. The cops were super cool about the situation, surprisingly. It turned out, the robber had knocked over several other stores in town and even shot one poor guy. When Paul heard this, he went pale, and the paramedics had to treat him for shock. If I had to guess, I'd wager the stick-up guy is dead or in prison by now. There's no future in that line of work, for certain. Now, when it was all over, I got a tow truck to bring my car to another shop. The driver happened to be on the way to another call and dropped me off at home. A few days later, I stopped off to check on Paul, and he gave me the details on how everything started. The craziest part was that he wasn't even the regular cashier. He was just a guy who worked on cars. The regular employee had a family emergency and he had to fill in until another cashier arrived. He was doing an oil change when he heard the door chime. The gunman approached him just steps from the adjoining door. He noticed the guy didn't have a mask on, and in his mind, this meant that he was going to die. Oh, wait. Oh, I did have a mask on. Wait. Wait, what? He noticed the guy didn't have a mask on. See, I'm confused with the whole COVID shit. I'm like, this is from a while ago, was it not? I'd just turned 20 the year the towers went down, society. Oh, okay, so this is a while ago. I think they meant, because if he's saying this meant he was going to die. Okay, maybe it was just like a autofill or some shit like that. I don't even fucking know. He noticed the guy had a ski mask on, and in his mind, this meant that he was going to die. His survival instinct kicked in, and he grabbed for the weapon. Just as I thought, he admitted that he was on the verge of losing control when I arrived, and he thanked me profusely. Then gave me a big hug. I'll not deny that we both cried a little in that moment. Over the years since, he and I have kept in touch through Christmas cards and birth announcements, and I'm happy to say that he's still alive and kicking at 67 years, and I wish him many, many more happy ones to come. I love you, giant ocean worm. Where's the giant ocean worm? Are they in the chat? It's all in the edits. Flawless. Yeah, it's pretty easy to edit. I mean, I don't know what Hannah's like workflow is for this stuff, but she'll figure something out. Trying to think. I remember long ago, whenever I was, working or doing this, I remember it was like so hard to stop and start, and I found it so annoying that my thought process was that if I messed up, I would just basically just be like, fuck it, and then just like go back, to where I messed up and continue on. But I remember I left that in a video one time of me just being like, he noticed the guy had a ski mask on, and his mind, and if I messed up, I'd be like, and in his mind, this meant almost like it was live, but it wouldn't really require any audio editing. I just remember someone left a comment years ago that was like, you would think with someone that tries to, or that's doing like professional audio reading, that you would at least like edit stuff like your mistakes out. And I literally, I think at that point, like had like 100 subs or something like that, and they're like saying that I'm wildly professional or whatever. But I remember it stuck with me, and it made me want to actually just keep editing it so it sounds nice or whatever. Need a face reveal ASAP. Probably not going to be ASAP, or maybe ever, really. Is Five Guys a universal fast food chain? I do believe so. I don't know to what extent it... Yeah, this is a masterclass in joling. He's just joling around. Twerks happened? Squawk. Where's Hawk been? I haven't seen him in a while at a stream. He's busy watching his nest, his eggs. Not having fingers is not a legitimate excuse, guys, for not hitting the like button. Yeah, I mean, you could use your tongue. Lick the like button. David De La Rosa with a 5 says, Joel, I need advice. I've been 15 years at my place of work. I can't take it anymore with my employees. What should I do? Oh, well, that's a tough question. I mean, first you have to think to yourself, you need money, right? You need money to pay your bills, handle your responsibilities, eat food. I don't know what your life situation is, but you don't just, I wouldn't suggest just willy-nilly quitting one day unless you had a backup plan. But hence why it's time for a backup plan. Now you want something better, you want something independent, something where you're not dealing with people's bullshit and you're your own man, you're your own sitch. Now, you could get into content creation, but understand it's a difficult road and it's not guaranteed. Even, there's people that have been doing it as long as me, if not longer, and it doesn't mean they're not talented individuals, but they just a lot of this also is luck, you know what I mean? And networking too, making the right connections with people to kind of get your name out there, blah, 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 YouTube, this shtick. And in the algorithm, sometimes the luck of the algorithm. But, there are things you can do in your life that, might give you a better leg up in your sense of independence. And that's why I've always kind of thought that trade school is something solid that people could get into. That's not super long. It's not like you have to go to in the massive debt and go to some university or whatever the fuck, and stay there for 4 years and deal with a bunch of hard-ass classes. You just think about, doing apprenticeships somewhere, maybe, go to school for, carpentry or stringing violins. I have no idea. Building instruments. You could do electrician work. You could get your CDL and be a truck driver. I don't know. You know what I mean? There's a lot of options there. And yeah, very hard work or show cleavage, which showing cleavage is something I did right out the gate. A lot of people don't remember those videos, but I had my boobs out the whole time, and it really just helped bolster views. I don't know. I mean, you would just probably have to get a list. Get a list of things that you think you could imagine yourself doing. Write those down and then kind of formulating a game plan from that, but as far as where you're at for work for 15 years, don't go crazy, don't lose your mind, just reevaluate, sit down, take a think, don't quit because you need the money. Maybe, I don't know what your situation is, but because I remember watching this video where it was I think it was on Reddit or something like that. It was it's kind of a no-brainer, obviously, what I'm saying, but at the same time, it was just some kid who was like, Mom, I quit my job. He's like, what? Why? And I hate it. I hate this job. Okay, well, how are you going to pay for your diabetes medicine? And he's like, shit. Because he had health insurance or something through that job that paid for, I don't know, made it more affordable or something. I don't know, you know what I mean? So it's just you gotta be rational when it comes to a lot of decisions one might make. Is sim house designer a valid career path? Yo, you do that on TikTok? Well, I don't really think TikTok is one that pays very big. In fact, I think the payment process in which TikTok goes about is actually pretty shitty, because they run ads before and after your video, but they don't run it on your video, so you don't get as much of a cut. And TikTok operates on more of a communistic, everyone pulls money from the same pot. So even if TikTok doubles in viewership and doubles in ad revenue over the next year, all of the creators still get from the same pot, which to me is kind of just a shitty business practice. But I mean, I'm sure in their mind they're Oh, we're the smartest smartiers in the world. How did you find stories before you had the subreddit and all of us give you stories? Well, it was definitely very difficult, but a lot of it originated around just like asking permission and stuff like that. Also, I quit because I pursued my passion in photography, but COVID happened and weddings and events stopped. Yeah, exactly. It can be very difficult, and it's good to have that backup plan, because a lot of us want to live some fairy tale life, and it doesn't exist. You got to diversify your income forms. You got to just leave yourself options, and don't burn bridges, and always all that kind of stuff. Let's give David advice about how he actually quits one day. I'm always a big fan of throwing something unimportant like the store keys or a phone. No, don't do anything bad, because you don't know. I mean, you might need that job again one day, and if you leave there on bad terms, you're like, fuck, that bridge has been burned long ago. Alright, story numero 30. That's where you can see all his behind the scenes twerking footage. Exactly. I don't know, who knows, maybe one day I'll be a father of fucking 10 kids out of nowhere. My hypothetical wife just had decuplets or whatever, 10 kids at one time, like a fucking litter of kids, and I'm gonna need to be able to afford all of them and send them all to their favorite liberal arts school. They all want to major in basket weaving underwater. And I will have to start my OnlyFans. It's the only, yeah, you if you're a sperm donor. Oh yeah, maybe. That'd be kind of funny if like somebody was a sperm donor, and then some weird law happened where like sperm donors were held like financially liable for all the random kids that they have like all around the nation. 900,000 kids, holy shit. I have to send them all to college. Butts McCracken with a 25 big one says, third shift kicks my ass sometimes, but I look forward to the lives. Thank you, Joel, for making the nights Louise. You're welcome, Butts. And I feel you. Third shift is fucking rough sometimes. If it's not the chaos of the night or whatever you're doing, it sometimes just drags on. At least it did for me at times. That's the hardest thing. But thank you again, Butts. Thank you. Behind the scenes push-ups, you can watch Joel just stand there and say numbers. Exactly. 1, 2. Honestly, I think that would take some talent for me to like pretend to breathe really hard, because you think unconsciously I'd like stop at some point. You love my voice, you don't even care what I'm saying. Great googly moogly boogly. That's all I have to say. Volunteers for the wife position. Yeah, can apply at the commune. Can I read the comments like you read your stories? I hated night shift, but loved it because I worked alone. That would be funny if I only ever talked in reedy voice. And Amelia with the big 20. You guys are coming at me. Since it's advice time, may I ask your opinion? I've always loved your art, and I've heard I'm pretty good. I'm pursuing criminology and forensics in school, but I don't want to have to give up the art passion for lack of free time. So you're asking how... Wait, not my art. You've always loved art in general, sorry. And I'm pretty good at pursuing criminology, forensics in school, and I don't want to have to give it up. Well, yeah, you definitely don't have to give it up. Unfortunately, there might be times where it takes like a bit of a back burner to you know, obviously your schooling and things like that, and then whenever you get a job within that field, or wherever you end up, you know what I mean, or whatever responsibilities come your way, you know. But, you know, it's the cool thing is you will have free time, you know what I mean, and I say you know what I mean a lot, but whatever. Yeah, and you just find time to pursue that, and as long as you love it, you know what I mean, and you feel inspired to keep going after it, it will find its way to like implement itself into your life, even whenever you're sort of drained of creative energy at times. You'll find some time. I remember there was times where because I really liked drawing too, and then during college you know, was able to find a lot of random times to get back into drawing, and it was very satisfying, you know what I mean, just to chill and sketch out some stuff. And the cool thing is that being creatively inclined, like, you might go down the route of criminology stuff, and it's still something that can both give you pleasure as an individual artist, but it can also, you know, become something that perhaps as you hone your skill can become a little sort of a side hustle, hide sussle. Yeah, this is my hide sussle. And David De La Rosa with the 2 says, thank you, Joe, you're the best. You're welcome, David. Yeah, you know, keep us posted. Let us know what's going down with that. But yeah, don't give up, and just need to do some brainstorming sessions, and we'll figure it out. What do I draw? I would draw all sorts of things, you know. I guess it started whenever I was younger. It's really interesting, like, how strongly a teacher can make an influence on your life. And I just remember, like, always sort of just being inclined towards art and drawing and that kind of thing. And my art teacher was just, throughout elementary school, was just so fucking cool and nice. And I felt like they were my friend, and they always just liked my shit. And then when I got to middle school, all my middle school art teachers were cool and nice, and they always liked my shit. And then in high school, I had less and less, you know, art classes, but when I would do them, it was always like, I don't know, it was just one of those things where it was like a stepwise pattern. Like, they always just thought it was good, and that you were, you know, and then it made me want to stick with it. But I only got to take one art class in college. But man, I remember, like, it was sweet because we got to use charcoal, even though we did a bunch of different things. But I remember using charcoal was like the coolest thing, because it was just amazing at how you could do some little bit of shading, but then you would use the charcoal as like this really dark contrast to like the you know, beige or white paper, and it would just like, you know, creating that outline of the person's face would just like bring this character to life out of nowhere, you know, with like one single stroke. It was fucking sweet. Thomas Fries with the 5 says, my daughter's a new fan of yours. Can you say hello to Violet? Hello, Violet. What is going on? That's funny. One of my very good friends has a daughter named Violet, so that's awesome. Thank you. BFFs in school. You think so? Do you think so? You make a soot sprite? That'd be sick. You do black and white portraits? Oh, nice. That's awesome. Do you still find time to draw? I unfortunately do not. It was weird. That was the thing. It was like you know, it sticks with you when it's like regimented, you know what I mean? And then I was like able to do it in college because, you know, I had the class, and it came back to me pretty quick, and actually got better in the class. But yeah, damn, that's kind of shitty. It's not something I just like sat down and done. And it's oddly enough, yeah, like even though YouTube is like a creative thing, I wouldn't say that it like soaks up all the creative juices out of me, but like you tend to find like where you spend your time as you get older, I don't know, it either becomes like more specific, or maybe I'm like, fuck, I should just sit down and draw something, but I don't even know what the fuck. What do I make? Maybe I could draw Pradeepy. Is Pradeep dressing up for Halloween? I hope so. I hope he's got something figured out. Wait, what was it, Joel? I was watching the last live where you said I was wearing a ski mask for work. I don't even remember saying that. That's hilarious. I feel like I say so much stupid shit during the stream that I just... Sometimes I just be talking. The other day, I came across some old photos from 2012. Among them were several shots of my wrecked Camry. Since we're coming up on the 10-year anniversary of the event, I thought that I'd share the scary incident that led to its demise. Although I may be able to joke about it now, it changed the way I think about my safety. More or less, it went like this. In 2012, I was 19 and still living with my parents. I had dreams of getting my own place as far away from my hometown as I could get. I would need a lot of money to do this. The majority of my time was spent working, often double shifts, at a large chain restaurant you likely know the name of. I was a line cook, but would also wash dishes to get extra time on the clock. In spite of my rocky relationship with my parents, they did allow me to use an old Toyota that I had In spite of the rocky relationship with my parents, they did allow me to use an old Toyota that had... Why do I keep saying that? My bad. Are we still reading stories? Yupper. We're grinding them out. Grinding them into a fine narrative pulp. Draw me like one of your French cats. In spite of my rocky relationship with my parents, they did allow me to use an old Toyota that they had purchased for my sister. She was now married and left the car with them when she moved out. It was agreed that I could drive the car as much as I wanted, as long as I paid for the gas and the regular maintenance, both of which I did. Even with well over 100,000 miles, that little Camry remained reliable all the way up until I totaled it. In addition to all the hours I was working, I was also serving as a de facto taxi service for a friend. He wanted to move away himself and worked almost as many hours as I did. In fact, he would go on to be one of my roommates a few years later. Unfortunately for him, he didn't have a car. Most days he was able to get dropped off by his stepmother, but no one was willing to go out after 10 o'clock at night to pick him up. I guess I felt sorry for him. He was a hard worker, and we'd been friends a long time. He and I made an agreement where he'd pay me $20 a month on top of a full tank of gas a week for the privilege. Considering getting him home and myself back added another 10 or more miles to my trip every day, and it was more than a fair deal. You also had to remember. I still draw, and I'm just looking for a computer call. Oh yeah, where's Fry? Oh, there's Fry. Hi, Fry. Fry, you should link your drawings. You guys need to see Fry's drawings. They're fucking, like, actually insane. Like, actually nuts. In a good way. Like, they're just, like, photorealistic and, like, I don't even know. And he does it all by just, like, hand drawing. It's just, I don't know, it's crazy to me. He uses a mechanical pencil. D-Shore with the 25. You guys are going ham today. It says, I was wondering, was your family supportive when you told them you were going to start doing the YouTube thing? Have the best stream. Oh, thank you, D-Shore. Surprisingly, I didn't tell them. I didn't tell them what I was doing. So, I had been working in my field from school, after school, for like 5 years, you know what I mean? And I was independent, financially independent, in the sense of away from my parents and stuff and living on my own, blah, blah, blah. So essentially at that point, like, from my mother and father's philosophy, like, their concerns with what I did with my life, external from just being, my parents, was... They didn't care, you know what I mean? They're like, whatever, you know what I mean? It's your money, your thing. You do what you want with it and live your life how you want. Like, thankful. I'm thankful for that. My parents, never like try to like influence me or force me in a certain direction or anything like that. But at the same time, they are like, I did feel pressure from them when I was younger to go into the medical field because of it. It was like a more of a safe bet, and it was that versus the more creative directions. Like, I remember I wanted to go be a concept artist for video games and stuff like that when I was younger, and it was just like kind of just open-ended, you know what I mean? I didn't really understand what that meant at all or where to go. I thought graphic design or something, like, and they were just kind of like, I remember my dad, he was like, Joel, you're not even that good. You're not even that good at drawing. It's like, I remember that like cut me deep, you know what I mean? But at the same time, it's like, there is that, like, those realizations, like, even if it is mildly rude thing to say, you know what I mean? Like, trying to keep people like level-headed and saying like, hey, like, because I remember that was a lot of the things that my dad would say. Would be, listen, I don't want you to have to go work in a factory like I did, you know what I mean? Like, working all sorts of random shifts, blah 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 blah, busting your ass all damn day. Even though that wasn't exactly what, but I mean, like, his point was like, you should go for something so that you don't, end up forced down a road of like, I have to go do this other thing, otherwise I can't eat, you know what I mean, kind of thing. But anyways, long story short, I did the YouTube thing on the side. Didn't even really tell them about it. I kind of like told them about it, but they didn't, weren't really paying attention to it. And yeah, it wasn't until like 5 years into it that I ended up, stopping working my job and doing YouTube full time. And it wasn't until like a year after that I kind of told them, and they're like, oh, and they're like, and your finances are going okay? And I was like, yeah. And they're like, and you're, oh, well, okay, whatever. It was like they were very nonchalant about it. Like, the buildup I had in my head as to how they would react was just like, the buildup that I had in my head about how they would react was met with this sort of like, who gives a, or they're like, whatever, man, I don't give a shit, I got my own problems, kind of, not that they, even though they're great, it's just, I don't even know what I'm trying to say, but basically I played it up in my own mind for so long that eventually if you fight going upstream all the fucking time, you know what I mean, eventually you just gotta like, you gotta realize you're like, I'm going the wrong way, you know what I mean, this is too fucking hard, and you just gotta chill and let yourself go the direction that you're inclined to go, because you only have one fucking life. Now granted, life is easier with better finances. That's 100% always going to be true, and you have to be intelligent about how you approach that so that you can have some sort of fallback, so you're not, you don't end up homeless or something, you know what I mean? Because I know plenty of people that have gone through that, and it's terrible. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, we live in a time in where making entertainment can literally be a job. Like, that's fucking weird, you know what I mean? Like, there's people long ago that created poems and all this kind of stuff that stick with us for generations, and that's great. But who knows, they were probably poor as fuck, you know what I mean? Like, didn't even ever think any of their stuff they ever made would ever have any significance. But you can have significance on someone's life with financial return, like literally tomorrow, you know what I mean? I've got friends, maybe they make just random commissions for art and stuff. You're even, looking at Robin, you know what I mean? Like, he reached out to me. You could make stuff and reach out to content creators and say like, hey, I'd like to offer my services for you. You seem as if though you're in need of a nice thumbnail merchant, and you know what I mean? And that's, there's so many ways to market yourself too, which is really cool in this social media world. And I don't know, man, it's crazy. You also have to remember that this was at a time where gas was almost as expensive as it is now. Something that I wasn't really mindful of then was how all the hours of work were affecting me at the end of the day. I was running myself into the ground without even realizing it. Driving 15 extra miles a night after working 12 plus hours a day was a recipe for disaster. Whether it was someone looking out for me or I just got lucky, I was fortunate. Whether it was someone looking out for me or I just got lucky, I was fortunate to only receive a few cuts and bruises from my negligence. The date on the photos is September 17th, 2012. I know for sure the wreck had been on a Saturday night. Therefore, my best guess is that the accident took place on the 15th. The day may be a little hazy, but the rest of that evening is still pretty clear. Man, I keep fucking up. Emu! What about emus? I don't know. And it's funny because I look back on the things, the very no nonsense stuff from my father, you know what I mean? Where it was just straightforward, here's the truth, and it would hurt my feelings, you know what I mean? It would hurt my feelings, and I would be like, why does this guy say this shit? And it's so strange because I look back on it now as an adult, and I'm like, holy fuck, thank God somebody told me the truth once in a while, you know what I mean? But otherwise I feel like I would live in a non-stop fantasy land of just everything's just hunky-dory all the goddamn time, and it's very clearly it's just not how it is, you know what I mean? It's just not, you need guidance, you need a mentor, you need direction, you need a reality check, you know what I mean? There's someone whistling outside of your window? What the fuck? Aren't you at work, or should I order General Tso's chicken with rice? Y'all make me... I'm not going to tug your leg, Grandma, but if you do, just know that you'll probably feel bloated afterward and not happy with yourself. But also know there will be a few moments where you put that delicious General Tso's flavoring into your mouth, and there's just going to be so much dopamine flooding your brain, and you wash it down with a little diet something. Yum, 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 yum. My mom was like that. It's not suitable, D. And I was like, I don't care about that. Let me that money now, and now I have to worry about it. But I was only 16 at the time. Exactly. Your mind develops and you change. You see the world different. Blah, blah, blah. All that shit. No, I got out an hour ago from work, but outside my bedroom window, I swear to God, and it's in the back, so not the street. Yikers. Yeah, maybe if you hear it again, maybe call a 911 something. Just, I don't know. I don't know your circumstance there, if it makes sense for someone to be whistling, but it doesn't sound like it if someone's invading your property. Your mom didn't believe in anything you did, unfortunately. It's tough, you know what I mean? It's tough because it's sometimes you have to see to believe, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, as long as you have somebody, your friends or yourself, that believe in yourself to chase after the thing, you know what I mean? I think that's a learning experience that's absolutely worth going through. Wait, Lux, you hear whistling too? Everybody's hearing whistling. Am I whistling? I can't even whistle. You'll record your murder and you can read a story about. Okay, perfect. Yeah, get that on cam, preferably dash cam, or not. Yeah, preferably dash cam. Go die in front of a car. No, I'm sorry, it's a bad joke. Don't do that. You whistled. It's the Skinwalker. The Skinwalker. The date may be a little hazy, but the rest of that evening is still crystal clear. I'd worked a total of 14 hours that day and fully intended to meet some friends for coffee after stopping home for a quick shower. When I left the restaurant, I didn't feel any more tired than usual. From the restaurant, I drove to the next town over and picked up my friend. I managed to drop him off and was about halfway home when the need to sleep really hit me. Back then, I was a smoker. I rolled down the window and lit up a cigarette. I hoped the fresh air and nicotine would wake me up a little, but nothing really changed. I was about a quarter of a mile from my exit. I could see the lights of my neighborhood in the distance, and this is the last thing I remember. My next memory was oddly surreal. I found myself hanging upside down with people shouting at me. To say I was confused would be grossly... Dude, this is crazy. I remember, my workplace... Because, working night shift was terrible, and sometimes my sleep would be so fucked. I'd be at work, and it'd be 4 in the morning, and I'd get off at 6, and I'd be almost falling asleep at the desk, typing shit up. And then I just remember driving home after work one time, and going over this bridge, and it's not even that far from my job, and almost passing out and hearing the do-do-do-do-do, the fucking rumble pad, which thank God it was there because it woke me up and I was home. But I can only imagine if I would, because that's the worst thing about sleeping is you don't remember the moment that you fell asleep. You just have some memory of something and then you're gone. Grandma with the 7 Canadian maple syrup dollars says, lol, you're right. But my trainer is going to train me to death tomorrow so I can work it off. Sending mucho love to you, Papa Joel, and all the butter. So, thank you, Grandma. This is true. Sometimes you got to treat yourself and just work it off. But you just have to find a nice balance there so that you don't treat, and then you're like, fuck, I don't even have the desire to work all this shit off at this point. It's the whistler from that one story the guy tells. You can see a canoe in the water and a man whistling this. Oh yeah, I saw that on Mr. Nightmare's channel, I think, a while ago, or maybe you guys mentioned it. It's the Midnight Whistler. To say I was confused would be a gross understatement. I was blinded by the beam of a flashlight, and the man asked me if I was okay. I didn't hurt anywhere, so I said yes. Before thinking it through, I undid my seatbelt and... Before thinking it through, I undid my belt and dropped on my head. This whole time, voices from outside the car are yelling out to me to be careful and asking if I'd been drinking. I was able to crawl out of the window and get to my feet. I began to feel a bit dizzy, and a man suggested I come over to his truck and sit on his tailgate. Once I did, I felt a lot better. While we sat and waited for the emergency responders, I looked over at my poor Camry in disbelief. I remained unsure of how I rolled over. The passenger side was squashed, yet the roof was relatively intact. Soon, the cops and EMS arrived. While the paramedics looked me over, the cops gave me a rudimentary? Whistling the Kill Bill tune. Do 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 do. What mic do I use? Right now you're hearing me through an AKG C214, and the mic that I record into for videos is an H4n Pro. Does a kayaker poo in his canoe? I hope so, man. Rudimentary. Isn't it rudimentary? Rudimentary. Did I say that wrong? It's been a while since I've seen that word, rudimentary. Rudimentary. While the paramedics looked me over, the cops gave me a rudimentary sobriety. Fuck, I'm thinking about it too much. While the paramedics looked me over, the cops gave me a rudimentary sobriety test. At the hospital, a sample of blood was also taken to confirm. I was there about 45 minutes when my parents arrived. I guess someone had notified them. My mom was freaking out like you'd expect, but my dad assumed that I'd been drinking and began grilling me about it. The hospital released me in the early hours of that morning, and even after all these years, my dad still hasn't apologized. After a month, I was cleared of any guilt. Luckily, nobody else had been involved, The insurance company wrote the car off as a complete loss, and our rates went up considerably for a while. This gave my dad another reason to be angry, of course, and I got a few days off to find another car and use some of my savings to buy a 10-year-old Focus from some rundown note lot. I jumped right back into things in spite of some residual soreness. My arrangement with my friend came to an end, and I became much more focused on getting enough sleep rather than messing around with my friends after work. I'm happy to say that I don't have any long-term trauma from the wreck. I was nervous about driving for a few weeks, but that faded pretty quickly. Now I make sure to... Now I make sure to take plenty of breaks on long trips or pass the driving duties on to my wife when needed. Once or twice I've gone as far as renting a motel room when I began to nod off. It may sound funny, but lack of sleep takes as many or more lives on our highways as drunk driving. Please, people, take it seriously. Any good teething toys for young dogs? Remember there was one. It was like a red ball, and you could put little snackies in it. So they, like, bite, can chew on it, but they can also try and, like, get the snacks out of it, but I don't know if that's a good one or not. Have you ever tried the juice naked? Yeah, I used to drink naked juice, like, when it came out, literally, like, back in, I don't even know, like, 2000 fucking... When did naked juice come out? Let's see. Product type. Wait, introduced in 1983. I feel like I didn't start seeing... Oh, wait, here we go. The package design changed with rebranding across the Naked Juice line in 2005, which was credited in part for helping Naked Juice pass the former industry leader in terms of annual retail sales, Odwalla. Oh, yeah. Oh, they passed Odwalla. Yeah, because I had some of those too. Yeah, I think it was like 2005. That's crazy. I even remembered the year that Naked Juice came out. Because that's what I was going to say, like 2005 or 6. And like, yeah, it was really good at first. And you kind of get that vibe like, oh, dude, this is just like straight juice. And it's made with like, other fruit goo or whatever. But then you look at it and you're like, this is just filled with as much sugar as anything else. And I don't know. You could probably make something healthier at home with just like mixing shit together with some protein powder or whatever you want to do. It's probably cheaper too, Yeah, it's my favorite toy for my own snacks. Put a little peanut butter in there and I'm just like... How old is our cult leader? I am 32, believe it or not. I had a B-day earlier this summer. Anybody got any B-days coming up? Coming up. Anybody else worn out and tired during their pregnancy? Is it because I'm having multiples this time? How many? You having twins? That's cool. Congrats. Who remembers Crunk Juice? Crunk Juice. Was that like an energy drink? I mean, I remember Crunk Juice from like Little John, but did he actually release it? Or like as like an actual product line? Oh, your birthday was on June 15th. Well, happy late birthday. October 24th, September 18th. In November you'll be 32. Nice. Your husband's 40th was yesterday. Well, happy 40th, husbando. But I remember Crunk Juice being in like gasoline, like jerry cans, you know what I mean? I always thought that was funny. Yeah. What? Okay. Yeah. Wouldn't it be funny if, like, I feel like birthdays are just like pretty commonly celebrated across most cultures. I mean, I think in, what is it, what's the religion? Oh, Seventh-day Adventists. And I think other ones as well. They don't celebrate their birthday. And I always thought that was really sad. Or they don't celebrate any holidays, and it's just like, just no fun, just zero fun all the time. It sucks. Zero fun all the time. Endless no fun ever. Jehovah's Witnesses too. Yeah, Jehovah's Witnesses and Seventh-day Adventists or whatever, they pretty kind of like similar. I guess they would be, right? Just like minor variations of like subsections of Christianity or whatever. You haven't celebrated yours in 5 years. How come? You're going to be 50 next June. Thank goodness 50 is a new 30. Hell yeah. I mean, just stay healthy, stay in shape. The only bad thing is, like, as you get older, it's like every little mistake, you seem to pay for it more, you know what I mean? Like every little dietary thing, every little hangover, every whatever, it just seems to hit different. Doesn't have as much wiggle room. Yours was yesterday, Holly. Well, happy late birthday. Joel, I think I know what religion you're talking about, but we do have fun. We're not boring, trust me. Oh, the Seventh-day Adventist? Am I saying it right? I don't know. The Jehovah's Witnesses don't celebrate anything? That stings. You stopped aging at 29. Yeah, everybody's just forever 29. Forever 29. I don't really care, actually. We'll figure it out as we go. This didn't happen to me personally, but I thought it was such a good story I should share it here. When this happened, my friend was dating a girl in the next town over. She was part of a group we hung out with over there. Our towns were separated by about 10 miles of woods and farmland. We spent a lot of time traveling back and forth on the major highway that connected them. We'd all been traveling on it since we were little and knew it well. To my knowledge, it had never had a bad reputation or was considered dangerous. I certainly had never met anyone else that had ever had a similar thing happen to them before or since. It was old and a little rough in places, but that is the status quo in small-town Texas. Most days, one or more of us would have been riding along with him, but for some reason, he was alone on this day. He had just left his girlfriend's house and was about 5 minutes into his commute. A flashing light caught his attention in the rearview mirror. He looked up and saw an old Jeep Cherokee flashing its headlights at him. He was going about 75 and the Jeep was closing in fast. He assumed the driver had an emergency and was trying to clear the road ahead of him. He changed lanes to allow the Jeep to speed ahead. However, when he did this, the Jeep also changed lanes. He was puzzled. Maybe the guy just misread. He misread me. Like a book. Where's the rice cult? I think every culture is part of the rice cult. I think all of us in the history of humankind use rice in some way. It's kind of cool, actually, to think like how much rice is used. Ben says hello, he's your biggest fan. Well, hello, Ben. It's the Seventh-day Evangelist? Here, let me check. I'm fairly certain it's Adventist. Seventh-day, yeah, Adventist. And they have like a diet. Oh yeah, their diet is like vegetarian or vegan or some shit like that. What is the Seventh-day Adventist? Hey, Sandra with the 5 says, update. Incantation was scary, but not enough for all the hype it's getting. I would watch again, though. Oh, okay. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know what that's all about. What is this rice you speak of? I never heard of it. It is pretty amazing. Just a little bit, boil that shit, fills up your tummy for a while. Galactic Bitch with the 5 says, hey, finally sending my first super chat. Hope everyone's having a great night. I'm ready to relax after a long shift at work. Smoochies. Smoochies. Mwah. Thank you, Galactic Bit XH. And thank you. Yeah, for some reason, I don't know why. I thought you donated multiple times in the past, but no worries, and thank you so much. How was twerk? Is your nose in the middle of your face? Oh, here it is. It's on my neck. Death to Smoochie. Oh my god, I remember that movie, Death to Smoochie. I actually saw it in like a drive-in theater one time. But then I never watched it since then. Wasn't Death to Smoochie one of those like parody-esque films? Dude, I'm having like flashbacks to that because I remember, I think in Death to Smoochie, one of the main characters is inside like a bathroom, and he gets absolutely covered with like toilet water, and then he comes out, and the janitor, whoever like is attending the or just coming into the bathroom, sees him just soaked, and he's like, El Nino, and then he like walks out. I don't know. 'Twas silly. Where's the collab with Blame It on George? It goes back actually quite a ways, and I believe there's like one playlist I have on the channel called like collaborations with other channels, and you know, me collabing with him was what motivated the creation of that. But I think I've collabed on George's channel at least 3 or 4 times. He was like him and That Creepy Reading were like one of the channels that really helped me get some sort of like get my voice heard and build up some audience. I remember, what's his name, King Spook. I don't know if you guys remember King Spook. He was like one of the channels that really, like, I remember getting like putting my channel was real small, and then he let me narrate one on his channel, like the whole video, I think, and because he was, I don't know, just very kind of him to do that. And I think I got like 300 subscribers in one day, and I just absolutely shit my pants when that happened. It was fucking bonkers at the time. With Robin Williams and Edward Norton. Man, yeah, that was a long ass time ago. I'm trying to think of who else I collabed with that really like helped me grow. If you guys remember any, man, it's been a while. He is dead. Who is dead? Someone die? George isn't dead. George is alive and well. I remember that was some, you know, that like meme where like it's like that one scientist guy holding the beaker, and it's like, finally, you know, white avocado, but it's like an egg or something like that. And I just remember, I don't even know, it was like somebody put it down below like Jorge's thing, and it was like, finally, blame it on George, but it was spelled like George, like George. I don't know why that made me laugh so hard, but I like that one. I'm a psychic, everyone. Joel has a face with eyes, nose in the middle of the face, and he's 32. The crowd is stunned. Absolutely stunned. Oh yeah, Euramaker. No, yeah, never collabed with Mr. Nightmare. I'd like to, but obviously he's in a league of his own up there. I don't know, maybe one day he'll just be like, fuck it, dude, I'm gonna help some people come up. Even though, to what extent we could come up, I'm not really sure, but I think I could imagine, like, you know, collabing with him and seeing like maybe a 2,000 person subscriber jump. That would be massive, man. I'm starting a reading channel. I know I'll never be as good as Joel. I need income, so it's my helm. Hey, you know, Shaw, you definitely, it's worth trying, you know what I mean? And it, even if it's not a narration channel, there's all sorts of other things that you can, run through. Mr. Nightmare is me. Is equal to me? Or is me? Duel is a skeleton. What's your thoughts on Vanille from Final Fantasy 13? You know what's funny is my dad actually played Final Fantasy 13. Final Fantasy 13. I played a little bit of Final Fantasy 10 back on the PS2, but I would play with like cheats, and basically I would play with cheats just so I could like check out the story. But then I got to this one part where you couldn't just like one-shot the boss or something. You had to do something specific, and then I got stuck with none of my characters are like leveled, so I was just like kind of screwed. But man, that game was sick. But as far as Final Fantasy 13, I remember my dad playing it, and they always made me laugh because he would like, he read a fuck ton. He would like read through like 1,000-page books in like a short period of time. Him and my grandpa would always do that. I never got into reading like as intensively as they did, but I did always laugh whenever he would like read this one thing on Final Fantasy 13. It would say like paradigm shift, but he would always say, okay, so see here, this is a paradigm shift. I always had a bit of a giggle. Josh with the 2 says it's your favorite amputee. Well, hello, Josh. What's going on? Have you animated your stories yet? Different people have, Mort, broccoli animations. Other people. I personally can't animate. Final Fantasy 8 Forever, baby, and Limp Bizkit. Yeah, keep rolling, 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 rolling. Just like playing that in the background while playing Final Fantasy 8. That's awesome. Oh, Grandma's going to bed. Good night, Grandma. He changed lanes to allow the Jeep to speed ahead. However, when he did this, the Jeep also changed lanes. He was puzzled. Maybe the guy just misread my intentions, he thought. He sped up a bit and moved back over to his original lane. Once again, the Jeep did the same. He was unsure of what to do, and while he considered his options, the Jeep accelerated and rammed the back of his car. He came very close to losing control but held firm. As you can imagine, he was freaking out. He did the only sensible thing he could think of and floored the gas pedal. The Honda Accord he was driving was well capable of outrunning the Jeep. Unfortunately, he moved just a tad too slow, and the Jeep rammed him again. To his credit, I'm not sure I would have been capable of maintaining control, but he did. By now, he was beginning to pull away, and this is where he made a major mistake. To his right was an exit off the highway. He had to know it wouldn't lead anywhere but to more empty land and woods. Perhaps he thought he tricked the Jeep's driver by making a quick exit. Jeep's driver. Sounded weird. That sounded so weird. Amelia with the 5 says, I know I mentioned finding you through Mort, but I did not mention the part about listening to you when cleaning my fish tank specifically. Made it easy. Hell yeah. What was the fish listening to? Just sitting in like a little bowl, being like, what the fuck is going on? I was taking a nice shit in that castle over there, and this giant creature just pulled me out of the thing. And now I gotta listen to a disembodied voice tell me about people noping out. Do you write your own stories too? No, I don't. It'd be fun to do writing and shit, but I don't. Mort's having a kid, right? Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Ever collabed with Raven Reed? She's great too. I feel like I have at some point, or maybe it's something Raven. What? That's So Raven? No. As the Raven. Oh yeah, As the Raven. As the Raven. What is it? As the Raven shits? I forget. Have I ever written my own backstories? Not really, but I remember Unit 522 would try to do like, narrator lore and stuff like that back in the day. And I'm sure that's still probably up on his channel, like my lore. Something to do with me getting probably a freak full exfoliation accident. As the Raven flies? No, not as the Raven fly. Oh, maybe it's like as the Raven dreams? Or as the Raven creams? I forget. Jack Attack with the tenses. Saw a highway in the title, heard a lot of stories about people laying in the road to make people stop so a group can rob them, so only got away by doing what they had to do. Be careful out there. Yeah, that's scary as hell. I think I've actually read stories on the channel about stuff like that, where they go around somebody and they turn back and the person like got up and there's like another person in the road, and it's fucking crazy. A Raisin in the Sun, that might be it. Joe, I wrote a story that was a highway story. Mortis did it, but I'd love to hear you read it. Oh, okay. Yeah, you'll have to resend that in. Perhaps he thought he'd trick the Jeep's driver by making a quick exit. I could never get a clear answer for him. Either way, just before he was to pass... Oh, I see. Either way, just before he was to pass the exit ramp, he made a quick cut across 2 lanes and left the highway. He thought he'd shaken a stalker, but the familiar shape of the Jeep was now hot on his tail. He was running out of options, and he knew it. Now he was in an even worse situation. The access road was virtually... Man, I'm fucking all these weird shit. BizKit collab. Yeah, can you guys get Fred Durst on the horn? I'd like to chat with him. Limp Bizkit. DMX. The access road was virtually... Why do I keep that? Message creamed. The access road was virtually invisible from the highway. Man, this fucking sentence for some reason. The access road was virtually invisible from the highway, and it was getting dark. If no one saw what was happening before, he was really screwed now. At the bottom of the hill, he blew through the stop sign and sped up the next hill. There was an entrance ramp coming up soon, and he planned to take it. The outskirts of town were close, and there was no way the Jeep driver would... Oh yeah, B-Busta. I've collabed with B-Busta many a time. I haven't heard from him in a long while. I'm gonna check out his channel. B-Busta. Let's see. One day ago, 9 chilling true scares for a long dark night. Reddit. Well, I'm glad he's doing well. Seems like his channel's doing well and all that good stuff. Yeah, it's always interesting to see people like go to their Twitters and they like haven't tweeted anything in fucking months, but at the same time it's like that person's probably wise to stay off the bird site. The outskirts of town were close. There was no way the Jeep driver would continue the pursuit once they got into town. He was sure he'd be able to make some space if he could just get to the top. He did, but the Jeep proved a hair faster and rammed the back of the car one final time. This was the hardest hit so far and caused him to finally lose complete control. The force of the collision caused the car to leap forward and to the right. The right side of this road made a dramatic drop about 35 feet down into a creek. I could be overestimating the drop a little, but it was definitely pretty high. He remembers the car rolling over once, but he lost consciousness right after. The picture I saw in the paper showed the roof of the car actually caved in and the rear end smashed. It was resting on a precipice just inches from falling another 10 feet into the creek bed. A passing motorist happened to catch sight of his lights from the highway and called for help. Once they arrived, he was rushed to the hospital and remained there for a few days. His most serious injuries were a punctured lung, along with a few other broken ribs, a broken collarbone, and a very bad concussion. The sprains and bruising weren't exactly minor themselves, but he did go on to make a full recovery. I'm sure most of you reading this right now are wondering one thing. Why would someone try to kill a complete stranger? And here's where we get into a hazy area. According to my friend, he didn't Whoops. I'm gonna head out, can't stay awake at night. Hey, Bakugo explosion, take care. What is Bakugo? Is that an anime person? Is that one of them animes? They took my rice cooker. According to my friend, he did not do anything to cause such an extreme behavior, nor did he recognize the Jeep or its driver. Since I never heard of a person ever being accused, let alone charged for the crime, I have no use. Fuck me, man. Since I never heard of a person ever being accused, let alone charged for the crime, I have to use some deductive reasoning here. Is it possible a crazy man saw an opportunity to drive a complete stranger off the road? Yes, crazier stuff happens every day all around the world. I even know a pair of guys from the same town who often took advantage of weaker people when they saw a chance. Not only did one of them sucker punch a friend of mine, I actually had a run-in with both young men. Fortunately, I got away unscathed. If it was one of those guys, I can assure you they messed with the wrong guy one night and got their just desserts. That said, I don't think it was them. I am of the belief that my friend did or said the wrong thing to someone and they went all Frank Castle on him, if you get my drift. I was in a car with a guy who flipped off another driver and barely near... Yeah, isn't that weird? Like how bad road rage gets? That actually happened to me once in high school. I remember there's like this long stretch of road and it was like this like sort of country style truck, you know, with just a bunch of hooligans inside of it, I guess you could describe them as. They were younger too. And I'm not even sure if we were like sort of jokingly racing or what, but like they just like, I don't know, kept doing something, either trying to pass me or just like egg me on, that I just gave them the finger. And I just remember that like prompted them to start fucking speeding next to me and like jokingly try to like run me off the road or whatever, but like not actually go to the extent of actually hitting me. But it does freak you out when someone just like pretends to like weave into you and shit. But at the same time, it's like such a silly thing, but like driving cars at like 50 or 60 miles an hour fucking sends your mind into overdrive. Jess Lins with the 10 says, just submitted my story, hope to hear it read by you, love your voice, and it would be cathartic to hear it out loud again, haven't talked about it in years. Well, I'll be sure to check it out, Jess. Thank you. Wait, what do you use to see how a word is pronounced? I want to know how to say Celia? Celia? Is that what that is? Yeah, it's on Forvo. Let me check. forvo.com. Ashley Marrero, welcome back for 7 months in the Buttersock cult. Says, wow, 7 months. Thank you, Joel, and thank you everyone here for being you. Thank you, Ashley. And you are welcome. You are always welcome here in the Buttersock cult. Are you sure it's Celia? I don't see any pronunciation for it on... Does it exist on Google? Oh, it's a name. Okay. It's a fairy queen in Richard Johnson's romance, Tama Lincoln. Salia. Maybe it's Salia. That looks more like a Salia. Salia is the ruler of an island called Fairyland, populated by women who have slain their warmongering men. She begs Tom and his companions to stay on the island so that it might be repeopled. And they're like, nah, bro, we're not getting our dicks cut off this time. We knew what happened before, and we're not falling for it twice. Those evil, evil men. You gave someone the finger in college. They followed me to a parking lot and tried to fight me. Yeah, isn't it weird? Something about the finger. It's just so powerful. Just activates everyone's monkey brain. The finger. I remember Dane Cook did a fucking stand-up back on that. Honestly, though, people hated Dane Cook, but he, going back to it, his shit was pretty fucking funny. But I just remember him doing a whole like stand-up like set about the finger. Here's my finger. How come they're not upset about getting the back? Where's my back? It was very animated. It's always weird. Like, I guess I don't know. He like fell off, but he fell off in a very like organic way, where it was almost like he became like the Nickelback of fucking stand-up comedy or something. How do you spell what you use to pronounce words? I feel like it'd be useful because my friend think. Oh, I'll write it in the chats. forvo.com. Well, I won't do the .com, but I'll just put it Forvo. It's a really cool site. Basically, it's just like crowdsourced pronunciations. So like if someone is familiar with how to say it, they can put it on there and you can search it up. And then if other people agree with it, they can, upvote it. And it's pretty cool. Well, yeah, what did he say about cheating on his wife? What was that about? Do you watch anime? If so, what are you into? Well, I can't say that. Actually, this weekend I am very excited to go see Dragon Ball Superhero. So Dragon Ball Superhero. It's such a funny name, but Dane Cook was plagiarizing other comics. It seems like that's a pretty common thing, for a lot of comics to do, honestly, sadly. But at the end of the day, that does suck, like stealing jokes, but it seems like it's a cutthroat business that way, where, I don't know. And it's gotta be hard because, like, you as a comedian, you know what I mean? Like, you're always looking for new material, right? But, like, a lot of it's gotta come from just the inspiration of just day-to-day conversations or day-to-day experiences, and some of those probably have to involve, like, you sitting down and just watching other people's shit and then thinking to yourself maybe even thinking of the joke later and not even realizing that the joke that you're taking is actually like subconsciously buried into your mind from years prior of listening to somebody's stuff. But I don't know, if they perform it well, I just look at it as like a fucking homage. But I don't know, the world of like stand-up comedy just seems fucking stupid. I mean, it seems fun if you can do it right, but it just seems like, it just seems so cutthroat. Like, to be a funny person on stage, like, holy fuck, man, like, all the time. Like, you just gotta always be funny. You just gotta be, you gotta be quick on your feet, especially if somebody is like an absolute moron drunk and they're a heckler. Like, how do you make them seem silly with what they're saying to you? Like, if you're one of those people in your group of friends where they're giving you shit and you kind of like stumble on words, it's like no point in even doing fucking stand-up comedy, because how in God's name would you be able to think of something on the fly on stage? Now, granted, that doesn't mean you shouldn't try, but man, I don't know. Stand-up comedy takes some balls, man. It takes talent and it takes balls. And it takes, it takes pants too. You can't just go up there with your balls out. You gotta wear pants. Norm Macdonald. Yeah. You know what's funny about Norm Macdonald is that I didn't actually find his stand-up comedy to be all that funny. But him as a person, like his organic interactions with other human beings is so fucking funny. Like, he would just shit on people in a way that was so impressive. But like his sort of like, because that's the thing about stand-up comedy is you have to like, it's like acting. You have to, be an actor or whatever, essentially. And It's and I don't really think Norm Macdonald was like all that good at acting in general. Whenever he had to like be forced into something, it just like isn't. It didn't really feel organic, you know, in a similar fashion to like stand-up comedy, to like go up there and just like, in a way you kind of have to be disingenuous because you're trying to tell this like joke as if though it's the first time you told it, but this might be the fucking 9,000th time you told it, and you still have to sit there and pretend like you give a fuck about it, you know what I mean? But he did have some sort of like thing that Netflix recently released where it was like where he did stand up from home or something. I kind of want to watch that. Stand up is the dregs. Trust me, I've done it. I mean, I believe you, man. I believe you. I mean, to be good at stand up, that's the thing too, is like, I don't know. You just have to be on a different level to be like one of the greats, you know what I mean? And then also just like constantly on the fucking go. Like you look at like Doug Stanhope, right? Like Doug Stanhope is probably considered like one of the top tier like top tier guys in stand-up comedy. But he's not wild. He's not like a known, you know, name in every house, you know what I mean? The same way that like Dane Cook was, or Louis C.K. was, or all this, or even George Carlin and that kind of thing. But like he still just like puts the grind in, you know, all the fucking time to just make it happen. And I respect that, you know what I mean? But to be funny all the fucking time, it's got to be tough. And he explained it very well, where he like, what do you say? He gets high to write the jokes. Wait, how does he do it again? It was like he gets high to write the jokes, drunk. No. Oh, high to think of the jokes. Oh yeah, here we go. Here it is. He gets high to write the jokes. Okay. He smokes cigarettes to focus to write them down. So it gets high to think of the jokes, smokes cigarettes to focus to write them down, and gets drunk to get on stage to tell the jokes. And I was just thinking, like, you know, a lot of like stand-up comedians, like they're always on the road, like, dude, I can't even fucking doing like a day trip that's like 45 minutes somewhere. I'm just like, oh man, I'm exhausted. I need to chill. But like these guys are always on the go. Always fucking just rolling, never in the same bed, you know what I mean? It just seems exhausting. Like no wonder people get addicted to substances when you're a fucking stand-up comedian. Like no wonder people get like cocaine addictions, because you have to be fucking, you know, blah, 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 you have to be quick. It just seems fucking terrible. Yeah, George Carlin, I mean. And it's funny because you go back to his old stuff and it's interesting. It's just like all these like interesting word plays. I actually love his like style of presentation, because he was almost like he was like giving a speech, but it was like an animated speech, but his animation was like how he told a story with his inflection and his body, you know what I mean? And I don't know, he was just an incredible performer in general, you know what I mean? And had some awesome thoughts all the time. Where you're from, where I'm from, jokes write themselves. They're real life. I agree. Every comedian's favorite comedian is Dave Attell. You know, I've never watched much Dave Attell stuff. I remember when I was younger, I would always see like, what was it, like Late Night with Dave Attell. And it was weird. I would watch the show as like a kid, but I can't tell you anything that actually happened on the show because I have no fucking clue what was going on. I feel like he just like would go get pizza and then go to a titty bar or something like that, and that was his life. That was his experience. Maybe a haunted titty bar. I don't even know. Telling the truth is a comedic way, and that's what it should be. And I honestly, I think I think that's kind of why like so many power structures and establishments have gone after comedians in so many ways, or like weaponized certain people against comedians, is because they're like, what is it? The emperor wears no clothes. And it's like, in the grand scheme of like rock, paper, scissors, or whatever you want to say, it's interesting because it's like the jester is the one that defeats the emperor, you know what I mean? Because it's the jester that's like, there's so much power in laughing at shit. You literally rob everything of its power and its ability to like do anything if you can just laugh at it. And if you can get lots of people laughing at one thing, it's just like it's like a big monster, in a closet that's made of like shadow dust and cum, and then all of a sudden it just like shrinks down into this little worm. You know what I mean? I feel like I've seen that in a movie somewhere, but there's power in comedy, and I think more people should laugh. The most unfunniest comedian alive today is Colbert. Well, that's the thing, is that Colbert used to be hilarious. I used to shit my pants laughing at the Colbert Report all the fucking time, you know, growing up. You know, Jon Stewart was kind of funny, but he was not Colbert funny, you know what I mean? Like, as far as, like, Colbert to me was like a perfect presentation. Like, watching his sort of news shit back in the day with the Colbert Report, it was like everything was like curated perfectly. Like, everything he said was perfect. It was not like rambling, it wasn't like lecturing, it wasn't anything. It was just like perfectly executed. And I don't know what the fuck, I don't know. I just assume everything's got like moneyed interests in it now, and you can't interfere with that narrative or you're gonna lose money. You know what I mean? Like, so it's just, or the network's gonna fire you, and everyone's afraid to be fired, so they're just like, I'll say whatever you want me to say. I'll say whatever you want me to say. Just don't fire me. I don't fucking care. I'll just go along with it. I just want to like keep making money. It ain't Doug Stanhope. Fallon is a good host, but not a good comedian. Yeah, Fallon has his. I don't know. I don't watch his show yet. I don't watch any of the late night shit anymore. I don't give a fuck anymore. I think this is the tough part. Is like it's really weird to me too. Is like sometimes I find like I'm getting my satisfaction of like laughs in like a fucking 7-second meme that was made by some idiot in their basement. You know what I mean? It's just made in their basement. Took them like fucking 15 minutes or not even in like some shitty editing program, and I just lose my shit at a meme. Like, you know what I mean? I'm like, that's apparently, if you want to find any truth in reality anymore, you just got to go on fucking meme pages. That's where you're gonna find the pinnacle of truth. I was in a car with a guy who flipped off another driver and very nearly ended up being shot. Like I said, there's a lot of crazy folks out there. Oops. Like I said, there's a lot of crazy folks out there. Maybe my friend did something similar and was punished for it. He wasn't the kindest of guys and could be arrogant. We've been estranged for a long time, and for all I know, he could be dead now. A victim of his own cockiness, I suppose. Automobiles are very dangerous machines. They kill more people and... well, I don't really want it. They kill more people every year than really anything, and we just have to accept this because they're so important to our daily lives. Knowing there are people out there willing to destroy their own property and possibly even harm themselves to get revenge, it really does give me chills. If you want to... oh my god. Knowing that there are people out there willing to destroy their own property and possibly even harm themselves to get revenge, it truly does give me chills. Touch my camera through the fence? What is wrong with me? Bro, I don't know, man. Angry emails. Sometimes you just say stuff. I don't even know what you're saying. There's a lot of people that come into chat sometimes and just say shit, and I feel like they're just, I don't know, in their own world, bro. Unless they're talking to someone else, then I feel like a jerk because I didn't know they weren't addressing me. Amy Schumer is terrible. All she ever talks about is her stinky. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, is like, at the end of the day, the one power that you have is, even though everybody is sort of just like slowly centralizing their viewpoints and centralizing the nonsense that they might think or the comedy that they project, like, at the end of the day, you have the power to just not react to it, not look at it, not watch it, not care. And you know what I mean? I think as time goes on and people, I don't know, like, I think money is pretty much the indicator of everything. And as long as stuff doesn't get like wildly subsidized in the concept of entertainment, I think eventually stuff will start shifting back to a more sensible like presentation of, at least in the comedic sense, you know what I mean? Oh, touch my camera through the fences from your mom's house podcast. Oh, okay, I never heard of it. Watch out for, let's... How many stories are left? We got 2 stories left. My brother and his friends flipped off a guy one time, and he chased them off the road and caused them to crash into a tree. My brother ended up with a broken neck. Holy fuck, man. Isn't that weird? Yeah, like there's something about driving a car and just like anger that the cortisone, the stress hormones that you have in your body while driving a car like will literally lead someone to that sense of road rage. Thought there were comedy fans here, might be. What do you mean? I don't think you can really say comedy fans. You would just have to like list what you think is funny and see if people agree with it. You know what I mean? I don't know. My voice is hot. Thank you. It's a power trip. Yeah, I don't know. I think that's the weird thing too, is the people that go after comedians or the people that go after people for like jokes and stuff like that. I think it gives them a sort of like sense of power. You know what I mean? I mean, there's different contexts to different things, but I think the like overcorrection that a lot of like culture is demonstrating, where there's this overcorrection where they feel the need, we're individuals as, in a way, groups, you know what I mean? But also in that sort of disassociative like anonymity of the internet, they feel a sense of power by like shutting someone down specific to their language and that kind of thing. And it's, I don't know, it's just odd to me. It's like such a strange, but at the same time, it's just like anything in humanity. As long as you feel power repetitiously, you will continue to feel as if though that's the appropriate conversational direction. You know what I mean? Like if you were playing fucking Fallout and you had like 6 choices to pick from, and for whatever reason, the bottom left one that said like I'm offended, you know, got you like positive fucking like exp every fucking time, you would just like unconsciously say it without even fucking doing anything. Joel has bird the word. Everybody bound in the bird the word. You kind of want to be a stand-up comic? Give it a whirl, you know what I mean? Like it's you know, not always gonna work out, but give it a whirl, you know. And that's the cool thing, is like if you got funny shit to say, like really no other better way to know if it's funny than to go on stage and give it a swirl. Whenever you record an audiobook like Audacity or a platform like that, I would love to hear you read Francis of the Filth. Huh, I never heard of it. I don't really have time, honestly, for audiobooks, just because it's where most of my energy is put into like this or like smaller projects, I suppose, or like if I would ever have a chance to do like character work, I feel like I would have more time for that. But like a full-on audiobook, I'm just not really sure. Never forget you're dropping your pants during a live read because you got hot. Yeah, you're comfortable in your game chair at home. Can't imagine you traveling around. You're a sit-down comedian. Yeah. Well, didn't I say that in this thing? I said I'm a sit-down comedian. Well, I'm actually, I stand up now with my stand-up desk, so that's a step in the right direction. A stand in the right direction. I always thought that too. I'm like, if I had to sit here and like ramble on about stupid bullshit to 545 of you guys in an audience, I would look out, see like half of you yawning, and I'd be like, oh my god, man, I gotta get out of here. I sound like a fucking moron. What about a flying comedian? Oh yeah, somebody that like levitates. Just Homelander up there. If you don't laugh, he'll vaporate you. All the late night people don't even have good skits anymore, though. Still like the mean tweets on Kimmel. Yeah, mean tweets are always good. I mean, that's the thing, is that they're probably funny because they feel truthful, you know? And at the end of the day, if you as a person can't speak your truth because somebody else is telling you that it's bad or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, it's not going to be fun. It's not going to be funny, you know what I mean? And I think there's a fine line between like that and like actually like being hurtful. It's like an art form. It's called comedy, you know what I mean? You like my laugh? Thank you, thank you. Season 3 of the Boys. It's been over 6 months since this happened, but I'm still having a hard time getting past it. I don't have the means to get counseling. I thought maybe posting an account here could help somehow. Maybe there's someone reading this that could push me in a helpful direction, or it could just make everything else worse. I'm willing to try anything at this point. I'm not sleeping well, and it's beginning to affect my life in other ways. So please listen to what I have to say and feel free to comment with your thoughts, or even better, a low-cost way I can get the help I need from real professionals. I was on my way to the post office to ship a package when my car died. This wasn't a new thing. It is an older car. It gauges. It's gauges. I spank the truth. What smells rotten and puts people to sleep? What? Oh, is that an insult? Yeah, Comic the Insult Dog. What smells rotten? I don't even remember what he sounds like. It's so difficult, the stage fright and me being a skinny ass 5'9", 138, being all types from these meatheads. Well, you know, it's just repetition. You know what I mean? I don't really think you being on stage and being skinny has anything to do with anything, really. You know what I mean? Like, as far as being funny, like, obviously you might feel intimidated, but it's not like they have the physical right or the... Like, it's not like you're going out there to fucking spar or wrestle with them or anything like that. You pretty much just have to strengthen your mind, you know what I mean? And wrestle with them mentally, I guess, by not caring what they think. Hence why I think a lot of comedians do drugs to get up there. I'm not saying you should. I definitely don't. But I think that's why they do that, so they can, like, separate their mind from the anxiety that they feel being on stage. But once again, like, I used to get really nervous. I know it sounds stupid, but I used to get really nervous coming on these live streams just to get in front of people and say stuff, because it is a bit nerve-wracking, you know, just being here. And, you know, you have so many just random voices, like, not in your own head, but just looking on the screen, and you see all these people just saying stuff, or you see one person is like, what the fuck's wrong with this guy, or, you know, stuff like that, or random shit. And you just feel bad about yourself, you know what I mean? But eventually, you just get desensitized to it, as I'm sure you might getting on stage doing stand-up comedy. Now that, you know, there might be, like, various ramifications to saying something, because some people are fucking insane, and they do stupid shit to react to silly jokes, whatever. But yeah, you just have to be a different person. You literally just have to go up there and be smarter than them, and different than them, and not care about what they fucking think. Fuck them, who cares? You know, and if you feel skinny, you know, if you feel like a skinny and you can't compete with a meathead pertaining to whatever, then go work out. You know, go work out and eat a bunch of chicken and rice and broccoli, and you'll feel maybe more confident or something. I don't know. Why is my voice so... Oh, it's Triumph the Insult Frog. Ribbit. I promise I don't care about being my size and having people actually try to attack me. Q Chris Rock Slap always had to have an entourage. Well, that's a good point too. I'm sure they have security there, but, you know, at the lesser shows, I still feel like that Chris Rock Slap was fucking staged. Like, it just seems so stupid. Like, it just seemed like he knew it was coming. I don't know what the fuck was going through. I mean, that's the whole point, is to get us to talk about it, right? But I look at it and I'm just like, what the fuck was going through Will Smith's head? If that was an authentic thing, it just doesn't make any sense. It just makes no sense. How long did it take you to not be scared to be online? I'm still scared to be online. I'm still like, as I do YouTube, I still like sometimes have to remind myself that I am like a human being that's online, and that there are thousands of crazy people out there. And I've gotten, you know, the death threats. I've gotten the fucking weird stalker bullshit. People are weird, and I don't know. You can't just, you literally just. Then I think to myself, I'm like, do I want to deal with that like sort of like abstract sense of fear, or would I rather go wipe poopy butts? You know what I mean? I'm like, fuck it, dude. I don't care. Please, I'll take the stalkers. I don't even give a shit. So much green in the chat. Yes, everybody's a member. It was fake, we all know. Yeah, I think the thing was too is it was more the positioning. You know, people like, there was the one, like, I thought it was so stupid. Like, why did the Twitter, you know, the fact checkers of Twitter, which I always find, like, why are they like the designated fact checkers? Like, why? I'm going to be a self-designated fact checker and decide on what is or is not true. Like, that's such a stupid fucking thing. And anybody that just like reads that and is like, oh yes, that is the absolute truth, is not thinking critically at all. But why, in all of the examples of the times that the fact checkers have come on and on Twitter and said like such and such is this, or the fact checkers are weighing on this, it's usually something political, and you know, you're like, all right, whatever. But like, why the fuck did the fact checkers of all the things feel the need to chime in on the Oscars with the Chris Rock, right? Chris Rock slap? Like, who gives a shit? It's fucking entertainment. You don't need to. The fact checkers are not. This is out of their jurisdiction, bro. It's up to us, man. We'll take it from here, officer. You know what I mean? Like, because the thing is that they were saying that Chris Rock had like a little pad on his cheek, right? A little pad, and it was supposed to protect him against like the slap that he got, and that it was, you know, people were insinuating that this image was saying, you know, making it seem like the slap was fake and stuff. And then the fact checkers came out of nowhere, and they were like, actually, it was doctored. That was a doctored photo. We promised you that the slap was true. It's like, who gives a shit? There's literally, you have no skin in this game, or do you? You know, like, pertaining, I don't know. It just seemed like such a stupid fucking thing. But to me, the big giveaway for it potentially being fake was the fact that, like, Chris Rock, like, had his arms behind his back, I think, if I recall, and he's like leaning into it with this weird grimace on his face, like this weird smile, like he's expecting it. And maybe he is, because why is Will Smith walking up to me with a after just yelling fuck you? But wouldn't it make more sense to retreat? Why would you just stand there expecting a punch, like almost leaning into it, you know what I mean? Like, as if though it was in some strange way staged. I don't fucking, who gives a shit, right? You know what I mean? But it was just dumb as fuck. I mean, I guess the ratings for that's the bad thing about like anything anymore, is that the only way to continue to get ratings is to get more and more wild. You know what I mean? That's the incentive, to get as insane as possible. And whatever. Thomas Fries with the 2 says 46 on the 23rd. My daughter says I'm an old man. Well, daughters usually say that, don't they? But you are only as old as you allow yourself to feel. And Fox Truba, welcome to the Buttersock Nation. The Buttersock Cult. You now have access to bonus content. Yeah, it made for some good memes, I guess, you know. Got people talking. But it's all just a big, stupid fucking distraction. Whatever, who cares? Everything in life is a distraction. Look over here. Pretty keys. Pretty shiny things. Will Smith's apology was dumb as fuck, and they really keep it going. Chris Rock said, F your apology. Yeah, like, I don't care, man. Imagine if, like, two like biker guys down at the bar like slapped, like one slapped the other biker guy, and then they were talking on the news about like Billy the Kid slapped Jimbo, but Jimbo doesn't accept his apology. You'd be like, who the fuck are they? I don't give a shit. Same with this. I don't give a shit about Will Smith's life. I don't care about Chris Rock's life. No one cares. Like, no one cares. We're moving on. No one cares. No one cares about anything. Literally nobody cares about anything. Like, it's just, I don't think anybody ever wakes up and cares. Honestly, I wish Will Smith would have challenged him to like a, wait, what? I tweeted something. I don't remember my tweet. Does anybody remember my sick-ass tweet I sent out? Yeah, like a WWE match. That would have been way sicker. Like, if this all led up to a WWE match or some sort of wrestling situation, that would have been dope. Or like arm wrestling, but one of their arms like snaps out of place. No one cares yet you're still talking about it. Exactly. It's like a meta thing at this point. You have to like talk about it not mattering, but then also talk about, I don't know, our brains get caught in these weird loops. Celebrity deathmatch. Now that's what we need. Some claymation shit. Just like that clay that was on Chris Rock's face to take the slap. Yeah, jousting on live TV. Galactic, that would be fucking nasty. Can I do a stereotypical English accent? Alright, I guess I will. Do a little celebrity deathmatch. Me, Chris Rock. No, I'll be ref. Chris Rock. Will Smith in the ring, toe to toe. Mono. Can you imagine, love? I know I can. I might even jump in myself. Get a little oiled up, if you will. You know, just a couple of piggies rolling around. Oh, it would be one heck of a time. Its gauges began doing weird stuff just after the warranty expired. I'm a student living with my parents. Neither me nor them have the money to fix such a seemingly unimportant problem. As long as the speedometer keeps working, I'm happy. Unfortunately, the gas gauge is one of the problem sections. It seems to only work when it wants to. Under 1/4 of a tank, you can't trust it. And I found out this the hard way by running out of gas on a very busy part of the road. Ever since, I tried to keep the tank above 1/4, but I keep a small gas container in my trunk just in case. The day of my post office trip, my tank must have run empty. This time I was on a quiet part of a road. I checked my phone and found a gas station less than a mile away. It was a nice cool day and the wind was light. I figured that I could pick a better day to run out of gas, I suppose. I couldn't have picked. Joel, you're like a bartender. I'm one of your regulars. I understand and like everything you do or say. Take care of us regulars and toss the crates. Exactly. All the regulars are allowed to get blackout drunk. The only way you're allowed to get blackout drunk here is if you put in the time. What's my Twitter handle? It's at Let's Read Creepy. And honestly, following me on there is good because you can bypass the notification systems on YouTube. Because sometimes they don't be saying shit. I was a few minutes into my walk when I heard a car. Wait, oops, I think I missed something. Oh, yeah, there it is. There it is. Almost missed it. It was a nice cool day and the wind was light. I figured I couldn't pick a better day to run out of. I figured I couldn't pick a better day to run out of gas, I suppose. I was a few minutes into my walk when I heard a car approaching me from behind. I moved over into the grass to make sure I wouldn't be hit. As the car passed, it began to slow down. I looked over and saw a young man leaning out of the passenger window. He was smiling and looked like a kind person. I wasn't sure what he wanted. I hadn't tried to hitchhike and did nothing I would think gave him the impression. I hadn't tried to hitchhike and I did nothing that I would think gave him that impression. I nodded and said hello in a nice voice. I didn't know what else to do. I returned my gaze forward and continued my walk. I'd walk about 5 steps when the passenger called out to me. "Need a ride?" A chill ran down my back. You see, he'd asked this, but ended his question with a derogatory slur. All I'll say is that it starts with a P. This guy appeared to be looking for a fight. I'm not a tough guy and have gone out of my way to treat people with respect. I pretended like I hadn't heard him and kept walking. He yelled it out again. Now he sounded angry. I started walking faster. The driver sped up to catch me. The passenger called out to me again. "Hey, didn't you hear me?" He ended his question with the same slur. I had begun to shake now. I was terrified they were going to attack me. Somehow I summoned up the courage to tell him that I didn't want any trouble, and he just laughed and said, "Well, I ought to kick you in the teeth for talking back to me." And this was just what I'd feared. I panicked and started running. I was trapped alongside the road with nowhere else to go. A fence blocked me from running into the open field that merged onto the shoulder. I was too scared to look back. I could hear the car driving just behind me. My only hope was the intersection about 50 yards ahead. I could see a car coming from the opposite direction and hoped this would deter them from assaulting me. I pushed harder. I was about 30 yards from the stop sign when I heard the car speed up. Just as they passed me, I felt a sharp pain in the back of my head. And that's when everything went black. When I woke up, I saw a middle-aged woman and a man kneeling over me. My head hurt and my eyes were ringing. My eyes were ringing. The bigger the smile, the sharper the knife. I can listen to some Don't Fear the Reaper right now. I love that song, dude. Don't fear the Reaper. Baby, fear the Reaper. My head hurt and my ears were ringing. I tried to sit up, but the woman stopped me. She said an ambulance was on its way. Then she said something that seemed so odd at the time. "Don't worry. We saw those boys throw that beer bottle. Donnie got their plate. They're not going to get away with this." Donnie turned out to be the male leaning over me. I would later discover that the passenger of the car had thrown a quart-sized bottle of beer at me. The bottle nailed me in the back of the head and knocked me out cold. The ambulance took me away and I stayed overnight at the hospital for observation. My parents brought me home and I've been here ever since. Since then, I've been terrified to leave the house. I've only left once when I had to identify the passenger. I was jumpy and anxious the entire day. When I saw a car that was the same model as the one my attackers were driving, I had an outright panic attack. They were arrested but got out on bail the same day, and I'm afraid they're going to seek revenge. Our house is only the...
Mischievous dog.
Hey, Mega, welcome back for 8 months as Poop Scoopin' Boogie, but to the tune of Boot Scootin' Boogie. I wish I knew that song, I don't. Do I sing? Like sing? You know, I don't, no. I've never... I mean, I'll sing, but I've never felt as if though I've, like, understood the art of singing. You know what I mean? Like, actually took a class or did choir or whatever the fuck people do to, like, be considered, like, singers. I've never really formally ever done any of that. And I think it'll be fun. I'm just not really sure where you kind of begin that journey. Especially at 30 fucking 2, Jesus Christ. I guess it's never too late. 5 a.m. for work, oh my god. Rise and grind. You must be in the UK, Emma. Oh, Emma is a very UK name, which is a nice name, let me just say. Joel has a lovely voice. Thank you, Megan. Voice lessons are overrated. Yeah, but I feel like... I think it's more just like people have the voice, but it's more about like figuring out what is okay. Because I kind of grew up with a sense of, when it comes to singing, I kind of grew up with a sense of insecurity, I guess. I think we all have. Like, you sing, and then one day somebody says like, "Oh my God, fucking shut up," or something like that. And Ireland's nice, dude. I want to go to Ireland one day. That'd be sick. But like, you have that one experience where someone says like, "Oh my God, is that a fucking banshee singing there across the hall? It's disgusting." And then you're like, "Oh, I'll never do it again. I'll never do it again. I'm never singing again, mommy. Mommy." And that's kind of what happened to me, essentially. Show us your taint. Someone screams that from the audience. I wish that was like the extent of heckling I got in an IRL show. Show us your taint. And then you just do. You're like, all right, here it is. No, he meant that since the dude didn't... Oh, some people are really far behind on the stream. It's interesting. Okay, our house is the only... Oh, I see. I'm afraid it gets... They were arrested but got out on bail the same day. I'm afraid they're going to seek revenge. Our house is the only place I feel safe now. I still have nightmares, and the loss of sleep has affected me psychologically. Just reliving all of this has me in tears right now. I'm at my wit's end and will take any help I can get. Please, can you suggest anything to make this waking nightmare end? Rachel with the 5 says, "Joe, I'm super stoked. We signed our lease and paid the deposit today, and we get the keys on Wednesday. I'm so happy. No more crazy in-laws. Hell yeah. Oh, I remember you were talking about that. The 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom house, I believe, right? At 5682 Pickle Drive. No, I'm just kidding. List your IP address. JK. But no, that's awesome, Rachel. Break free of that shit. Isn't it weird? Yeah. I would never want to live with my in-laws, man. I go fucking bonkers. Holy shit. I'll show you all the best pubs. Get a decent pint of Guinness and some whiskey. Oh yeah, what is it where you like drop whiskey into a Guinness and chug it? What are those called? Is that a thing? Man, that sounds like, oh my god. Whiskey with, dude, Guinness is like heavy beer, like heavy fucking beer. So that's like sloshing around in your tum-tum. And then fucking whiskey? Holy fuck. Remember that episode of Family Guy where like the Irish... Do you remember that? It was like what Ireland was like before they invented whiskey or something. That shit was so funny, dude. Oh, the Irish car bomb. Oh yeah, dude, those are fucking rough, man. Holy Christ. God. A flaming Dr. Pepper? What's in that? Oh, Jaeger bombs. Yeah, maybe that's it. I don't know, but I've heard of Irish car bombs too. I think that's called a crime. Yeah. Don't drink it. You'll go to jail. I get that. My dad's ex-sons lived here. Wait, my dad's ex's sons. Okay. Wait. So he's my dad. He's got an ex. She's got sons. I'm like creating a chart right now. We're going down to sons. Lived here, but one moved out earlier and the other one is leaving tomorrow. That does sound annoying as fuck. Combining families and shite. Yuck, Jaeger is shitty. Yeah, I don't like any alcohol. It all makes me throw up and feel sick. We should just invent. What should we invent? Something that gets you as fucked up as alcohol, but like, there's no hangover, dude. How the fuck, after all these years, it's the current year, and we haven't invented some sort of drink that doesn't give you a hangover. We gotta figure this out. Somebody call up the Irish scientists. We gotta figure this out. Any spirit dropped into a beer chaser is called blank bomb. Okay. Spirit bomb. Oh, dude, that'd be good. Like a Dragon Ball Z themed shot. It's called ketamine. I've never tried it. Alright, friendos. Last story of the evening, but I'm going to take... Oh shit, it's already midnight. Fuck. A little bit of ketamine. No, I'm just kidding. Fucking magnesium. So let me put on the cool ass Be Right Back screen just to have an excuse to use it, and I'll be right. I'll be our right back. Wake up! Makeup! Also, I had a brilliant thought. Don't fear the creeper. It's a parody. The Minecraft music video. It's gonna get 56 trillion views. Somebody go make that. Whole bag of Cheetos and your poop's fluorescent red. That sounds like what poop should be. Maybe over time, evolutionarily, the human diet will consist primarily of Cheetos, and no one will question it. All right, friends. Last. Put the music back on. Oh yeah, that's Secede. Does anybody remember what that song's called? Oh yeah. Secede in My Core A. I'll type it in the chat. You should listen to all of Secede's albums. They're awesome. In My Core A. There you go. Hello, Angel. It's Pooh with character. Hit the like button. It's free. It's actually not free. Every time you hit the like button, your bank account it's just drained automatically. It's like pre-set up that way. Can I do another pig impression? Alright, love. I suppose. Little piggy. Oh, you little piggy. Got a little twisty tail. Want some haggis. Alright. I'm a 24-year-old woman currently living and working in the west of the United States. Now, a few weeks ago, I had a strange and scary encounter. Two of my friends happened to have their birthdays on the same week, and I was busy trying to find them the perfect gifts. I was returning home from a 30-mile round trip. About 20 miles from home, my front left tire went flat. I pulled off onto a wide section of the shoulder and got out to look. The tire had a huge hole in it, but fortunately, I do have AAA just for times like this. I searched through my phone for the number. I dialed it, and just then, an old work truck pulled up in front of me and parked. I assumed it was a good Samaritan looking to help. I got out to let him know that I was okay, and he claimed to be with AAA and pointed to the AAA sticker on my window. He was driving by and figured that he could save me a call. I questioned him about his truck. He claimed to actually be a subcontractor for the company. The lady from AAA was on the phone while this was happening. I was suspicious, so I lied and said that I was talking to my husband. I'd be off the phone in a minute, and then we'd be free to talk. He walked back over to his truck, and now that he was out of earshot, I asked the operator if they use contractors. They do, but all of them drive tow trucks in case of a tow. What is it? Quickly, wait. They do, but all of them drive tow trucks in case of a tow. In case a tow. Okay, I guess that would make sense, huh? They do, but all of them drive tow trucks in case a tow is needed. This was not what I wanted to hear, and a sick feeling filled my stomach. I quickly explained the situation, and she promised to send an officer along with roadside assistance. I hung up before I realized what I was doing. I was scared, but knowing a cop was on his way gave me some sense of confidence. I put the phone in my pocket and waved the man over. He seemed like he was beginning to get nervous. By my estimation, it would take at least 15 minutes for the cops to arrive. I figured that I need to keep him busy. I began asking a bunch of stupid questions. Very few made any sense or pertained to the subject. He looked annoyed but answered every one. Suddenly, my phone rang, and it was AAA. I answered, and the operator asked if I was okay. I told her that I was and apologized for hanging up on her. The man must apologize. The man must have smelled a rat, and he began looking around. I looked at him, apologized, and mouthed the words that it was my husband. I told him that it would just be a minute. I only had one or two questions, and then he could get to changing the tire. The operator assured me that the officer was on his way and he shouldn't be much longer. And she was right. Less than a minute later, a police car pulled up behind his truck. The man said that he had to go and quickly walked away, but thankfully the officer caught up with him before he could escape. I thanked the operator and hung up, the proper way this time. I got in my car and watched as the cop spoke to the man. Soon, another cop car arrived and joined him. Just a minute or two passed and the real AAA assistant showed up. He got to work quickly and had the tire changed in a few minutes. As he was wrapping up his work, the cop put cuffs on the guy and took him away. I was relieved. I thanked the mechanic and went on my way. I arrived home soon after and have been wondering what became of that fake serviceman ever since. And to date, I haven't received any calls from police or AAA, and that's probably a good sign. I'd rather not know if the guy was some serial killer or anything like that, and I've since removed the AAA sticker from my car. It was one of the big things that drew the man to me. Having a beacon for nutcases on my car didn't seem like a wise idea. I'd suggested any other single women out there remove any Hey, Mr. Wonder Wop with the 5 says, here's some money. In return, I will need your social security number. Oh, Lord. Okay. 6, 9, 4, 2, 0, 6, 6, 6. The trifecta. Thank you for the 5, my friend. Thank you, thank you. I'd suggested any other... Fuck. I'd suggest any other single women out there remove anything like that from their cars, no matter how little it may seem. From what I've read, they use things like stickers to create a superficial connection with their intended victims and draw them into their web. Even if you're not single, it couldn't hurt. Our men can't be with us 24 hours a day. I feel like saying that's gonna piss, they're like, what? Someone in the comments, what? What the fuck? I don't need a man. She was, what is it? She was dolling out sweet frothy, oh. Do you remember Uni Riders? I don't remember.
Kitty cat, you were so sweet, holy shit. Your fur's so soft, it makes me laugh. Ha 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 ha.
Got a revolver and a machete. Do you have the revolver has a machete on the end of it? That's what you really need. That'd be fucking sick. Oh, hey, that's my social security number. What? Are we the same person? You managed to lose your nicotine hell? What's nicotine hell? I like turtles. Alright, we're reading the outro, friends. Somebody think of something funny. Hey friends, thanks for listening. Click that notification bell to be alerted of all future narrations. I release every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you got a story, be sure to submit them to my subreddit, r/Let'sReadOfficial, and maybe even hear your story featured on the next video. And if you want to support me even more, grab early access to all future narrations and bonus content over on Patreon, or click that big join button to hear about the extra perks offered for the channel. And check out the Let's Read podcast, where you can hear all of these stories in big compilations and save huge on data, located anywhere you listen to podcasts. Links in the description below. Thanks so much, friends. Penis wrinkle. Thanks so much, friends. And remember, penis wrinkle. I'd love to live off grid and attend to my own garden. You know how you do that? You go join the Amish. There you go. Easy peasy. Lemon squeezy. Your taint ain't for saints. And remember, show me your taint. Lick that comment and subscribe. Pets per deep in spirit. Oh, he would love that. I did not have... Yeah, that's not true. I can't lie. I cannot tell a lie. Tie up those... What? I'll just say that. It'll be a cute ending. Thanks so much, friends. And remember to pet per deep in spirit. That'll really tug everyone's heartstrings. They'll be mad about the man comment at the end, but then they'll hear Pradeep and be like, oh my god, I love Pradeep. He's cute. Joke's on them. He doesn't exist. I made him up the whole time. Every time he comes over, he doesn't. I just psychotically pretend to pet nothing. But what are we on? What are we on right now? 56 push-ups? Can we do it? Is it possible? Can we grind them out? Pradeep's on the chair, and I have to move him out of the way. And as I do that, he's like flipping over. It's pretty fun.
What a baby. What a baby.
Alright, 56 pushy uppies. That'll tug their booty webs. Clear things out. For a new coat of paint. You can make sapphires in the microwave. What are we talking about? Alright, 56. Let's fucking do this. Anybody else doing an exercise? It's honestly kind of, it gets you kind of jonesed up before bed, but then then the muscles relax, and then you're like, oh, I'm ready to sleep. Alright, let's go. Let's go. 56 per deep. That sounds like a lot, honestly. What the fuck? What the hell? Ugh. Hula. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47. Oh, fuck me, man. I have been doing a lot of push-ups in my workout, my normal workouts. I don't know. It's just like a mental. I'm like 10 well, like 9 short. Fuck. That means I still gotta do 9 push-ups. Dude, fuck push-ups, man. Well, not actually, but you can't actually have sex with a push-up. What I meant. Oh, fuck. I don't even know what I mean anymore. Nothing means anything. Everything I say is fucking stupid. Who cares? 9 more. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 inches. I mean, push-up. Okay. Burpees. Oh my god. Burpees would kill me. I always feel like I knock the breath out of myself, landing on my chest. Time to go to bed. I gotta get a shower. I gotta be up in the morning. It's Friday, baby. Let's fucking go. Dude, it's already out today, but I'm actually excited to go see Dragon Ball Z Superhero. I think it's gonna be sick. Hopefully, if you guys see it, we can do a review. I'll do a review on the next stream, which will be technically no, actually, there's no stream this Sunday because it's a compilation podcast day on Monday, and so Tuesday, I get Tuesday, my dudes. I'll be back for the streaming. But yes, thank you, my friends, for everything. Seriously, thank you for the support and love and just, just being fucking cool as heck. It makes life easy. It makes life easy when everybody's just super duper swell. The compilation, yeah. Anyways, goodbye, friends. And this video will be up on Patreon first thing, early access, $1 over there on Patreon, and then we'll get it. Show us your taint, and then it will be over on YouTube today. Highway stories. Keep an eye out for that. Follow me on social media. I don't know. Oh yeah, TikTok. Nah, fuck TikTok. Actually, I encourage you guys not to follow me on TikTok, just so that it doesn't pop off and I'm not like forced to post there. Fuck TikTok, man. Whatever. I'm just boomer because I'm like opposing it. I'm sure one day I'll be like on my knees begging TikTok to let me back in. All right. Goodbye, friends. I love you, and sleep tight. Or be awake too. You can do that.